for sure the real estate, I told myself, don't involve fraud. You know, you dodged a bullet the first time, you dodged a bullet the second time. It's not gonna happen the third time. It's like, how do I take over a property without getting caught? I would deposit my check into my Chase account, you know? And I realized that after a while, when I would deposit it, the money would be available right away, you know? And I was like, So I know a couple of people, like they're not doing anything with their lives. They used to have a bank account. They once thought they had a shot at life normally, but now they're just living at home with their parents, 35 years old, whatever, you know? And but they had these checks, you know, regular personal checks. And I'm like, hey, let me see one of those. Okay, wrote it out to myself. I wrote like 3 of them, you know, total like maybe $2,800. I was like, let's see if this works. So I went, deposited them, and they weren't available right away. But the next morning, they were. I'll never forget it. I dropped my dad off at work because I needed the car, you know. And on the way back, it was like, bam, the money's available. $2,800, something like $2,800, something like that, you know. But I knew in my head, I was like, I only have a certain amount of time before the system catches that the account that the check was written from doesn't have any funds. So boom, like I go straight to the bank, pull it out, you know, no questions asked, had the money. I just made $2,800 in less than 24 hours. So right away I was like, oh man. But what I didn't really realize is that those accounts were gonna get burned. But I didn't care because, you know, I was you know, I was just
You're on drugs.
Strung out, you know. So what I did was, at that point, I was still very fresh with talking to all my friends from high school. So I proceeded to persuade, because, okay, you've been in this, you know, like, you kind of know who to go to.
Yeah.
You kind of know who to ask. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, yeah, you know who to ask. You know who to talk to. So I will pick a couple people, you know, I would go to, you know, I'm like, hey, what are you doing? You know, I'm at work. Hey, I'm going to stop by. Like, cool. Hey, check this out, though. What's going on? Like, look, I know that you might feel like this can get you in trouble, but it's not. I promise. Like, it's. I swear. What is it? What is it? I was like, look, just let me borrow your debit card. I'll come back and I'll bring you $500. What do you mean? Just trust me, you know? And if you really have trust issues, you got your bank on your phone. You'll see if I take your money, which I'm not going to do, and I'll come back and I'll have more money for you. Are you sure? Because I need to pay this bill.
Right.
I'm positive. Take this bill and take the debit card, go deposit these checks, you know? And for some reason, I just stood at $3,000. I just didn't go any more, didn't go any less. Just in my mind, I'm like, if I do more, it's not whatever, you know? So it stuck at $3,000. I must have done like, man, I want to say like maybe 8, 9, 10 people of my friends over a period of maybe like 8 months, you know?
Okay.
You know, and because I didn't convince everybody, you know?
Right.
Some people were like, no, like I'm good, you know? So then at this point,
so you deposit the check for
yeah,
$3,000 in their bank account. It clears.
It clears. I get the money.
You pull $3,000 out. You give them $500.
But remember, they had their money in there.
But now they have a problem.
Yeah. Now they owe that $3,000.
Right.
You know, they don't take the money they had out. You know.
Yeah.
So let's say they had
the checks bounce.
Yeah, exactly. Checks bounce. They say they have $1,200 in there.
Yeah.
I leave $500 in there. So now they think they're plus $500. Does that make sense? But really, in maybe a week or a couple of days, it's gonna be.
Yeah,
you know, 3,000 minus 1,700. You know,
so how many friends did you lose?
Like a lot,
right?
Like a lot, like, you know, like a lot of friends. You know,
right?
I'm thinking it's harmless. You know, like all they got to do is call the bank. Hey, I didn't do this. Hey, but your debit card was deposited,
right?
And it's, you know, so you had to have some fault in this, because if they had your debit card and you didn't report it stolen, you knew what was happening.
Right.
So now obviously they owed the money. They closed the account. And some of them, at the end of the day, couldn't even bank anywhere else, you know, because I don't know if you heard of check systems, you know. So, yeah, so after that, they couldn't bank anywhere, you know, and they would come to me. Like, I had to even move because I had so many people coming to my door like, yo, mother, you know, like, what did you do, you know?
Look at these 11 pages. This is what a data broker claims to know about you. Your addresses, phone numbers, even relatives' names. And guess what? They're selling it. Anyone can buy your information for a few bucks. Scammers, stalkers, whoever. I've seen enough scams in my life to know just how dangerous this is. These companies are making billions selling your privacy, and we're the ones left vulnerable. That's why I use today's sponsor, Aura. Aura fights back by automatically finding where your information is being sold and scrubbing it off those sites. And it keeps it off. Other services claim to do this, but Aura does more. Alerts if your information hits the dark web, real-time fraud alerts for your bank account and credit, 24/7 monitoring, a secure VPN, antivirus, password management, and even $5 million in identity theft insurance. Bottom line, Aura gives me peace of mind. I'm not leaving myself vulnerable, and neither should you. Try Aura free for 14 days at aura.com/Matt. In 2 weeks, they'll be scrubbing your information off broker sites. That's aura.com/Matt. So the better version of that is you just say, give me your debit card, and you go at 11:30 at night and you take out the maximum you can take out.
Yeah.
And then the next day you take out the maximum you can take out.
Yeah.
And then the next day you take out. So let's say it's 505, that's $1,500.
Yeah.
And then you have them call the bank and say, hey man, $1,500 is out of my account.
Yeah.
Like they got $500 increments. A bunch of people, somebody's taking money out of my account, and then you can give them back the debit card.
Yeah.
And they're like, what do you? Well, they're like, oh yeah, you used your debit card. You said I didn't use my debit card. What are you talking? I was at work during that time. I didn't. And then if they check the cameras, it's not them.
Okay.
And it's called the Electronic Transfer Act. By law, federal law, the bank has to return your money within 24 hours. So the bank gives them the money back because they think they've been ripped off.
Mm-hmm.
The worst the bank will do is cancel their debit card and issue them another debit card.
And give them return the money.
Well, they return the money.
Yeah.
They give them the $1,500 and they give them a new debit card. Or maybe they say, look, we're gonna close out your account and switch everything to a new account because we think that someone stole your debit card or they got your information.
Yeah.
Somebody cloned it. We don't know. It clearly wasn't you.
Mm-hmm.
We can see the camera. It's not you.
Yeah.
They don't even, unless it's like over 10 grand, they don't even contact the police.
Wow.
They just give it, and you could people. I know people that will go from friend to friend to friend,
And just do this.
yeah. And that's like it's the same kind of thing. The difference is they have to make some phone calls.
Yeah. That's about it.
Yeah, but that's it. What you're doing is now they're on the hook for the $3 grand. You got $2,500. They got $5 grand. They got $500.
Yeah.
But they're on the hook for $2,500, and it's crushed their fucking. Yeah, they can't go anywhere. Oh, I'll go to another bank. No, not until you pay this back.
That's right. You know.
Yeah.
So I have
you need to
many
move.
People, yeah. I have a lot of people. You know, a lot of people coming to my door, hitting my mom up. You know, like they'll find her on Facebook. Hey, your son did this, and this, and this. So right away, you know, like, and it's crazy because growing up, like my mom always like, why are you such a troublemaker? Why are you always talking in class? Why this? Why that? So to see that start happening, she's like, oh, see, I knew it. You know. So yeah, so I had to move, you know, and then, but all that started was just for me, like, oh, a whole new area to go do it at, you know. So when we moved we were in Ontario, you know. So all the friends that I had in Ontario, like I must have burned, I was lowballing with 8, maybe like 15, 20 people, you know, over a period of time. And yeah, after I
these people are fucking idiots. Anyway, like, what are you doing? Giving me if somebody came up to me, I trust Colby, but of course, give me your thing. I'm gonna come back. I'd be like, no.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, first of all, what are you doing? And if he could, well, no, don't worry about what I'm doing. But I promise you're gonna be okay. Get the fuck out of here, bro.
Yeah,
I'm not fucking
but
you
you know,
my
like
shit.
I said, you know who to pick, you know.
Yeah.
And just what's it called? The gift of gab. If you,
Right.
if you just know what to say, you know what emotional buttons to push.
What's so funny is that during that period of time, like for the next 2 or 3 days, those same people would probably get you more people because they're like, yeah, bro, this is what just happened. Give my buddy this, such and then of course it goes bad.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And then suddenly now you just have just 3 more people that hate your guts.
And that did happen a couple times, you know. It's like one of them was a cheerleader, you know, and she still talked to her cheerleader friends, you know. And I'm like, oh yeah, I could do that for you. And I was just like, whoa, like. And so now, you know, I knew it was getting out of hand, but when you got money coming in,
I was gonna say what's funny is he's like, nah, you're gonna be good, you're gonna be good, and then it happens, and they start yelling at you.
Yeah.
You go, well, what did you think was gonna happen? It's like, what do you mean? You said I was gonna be good. Come on, you didn't believe that, did you?
And one of them even said, like, you could have at least told me so I could pull my money out. You know,
Right.
So, yeah. You know, I was like, yeah, you're right, but I was just focused on getting the money and just going, which is kind of like an asshole move because I could have let them know. You know, and then just pull your money out at least, and you'll at least be 500 plus cash. You know, your account's gonna get burned, but whatever. You know, but it's not whatever because like even today, I still can't bank anywhere. I can't. So at this point, So I'm probably like maybe.
You've had to move.
I had to move. I
Lost
moved,
all your friends.
I moved back to Rialto, right?
Got to get a new group of friends.
How much money did you make off this?
I'm probably like, I made like good, maybe 15 grand, 20 grand, maybe a little more than that, you know?
Yeah.
But at that point, you're like, whoa, you know, like, man, it's
Well, you're a
terrible.
kid.
It's terrible. It's just terrible, you know? And it's crazy because, like, I had jobs come to my door. Literally, like when I stopped working because I was doing this, the neighbor, she was really cool. Her name was Josephine, you know? Shout out Josephine. She was really cool because we would talk and she wouldn't make me feel like shit for not having a job. You know? Everybody else was, which is understandable, you know? But his neighbor, she was really cool. She was like, look, son, like, you know, like, what are you going to do if your mom and dad die? What are you going to do if this, you know, like, you don't pay the rent of the house you're living at. Just the whole, like, you know, get it together speech, you know? And she's like, I'm going to get you a job. And I'm thinking, lady, you're retired. You don't talk to anybody. Who are you going to give me a job with, you know? But, so we live next to each other. The person across the street, all right, his name is Brian Isbell. He's a really good guy. He has a company doing pool tile cleaning. That makes sense?
Yeah.
You know, which is very specific. So one day, it must have been like 11:30, almost noon, and I'm passed out, you know? Like, I don't, you know, I'm making money. Leave me alone. And so you're staying up all night, you know, and with the ice thing, you stay up all night for no reason. You're just there, you know? And so you're probably asleep till like noon. So it's like 11:30, boom, boom, boom. I got a knock on the door. I'm like, who is it? I open the door, it's this guy. I'm looking all, you know? I'm like, what's up? And he's like, hey, you Peter? I'm like, yeah, what's going on? And he's like, oh, I heard you needed a job. And in my head, I'm thinking, did a job really just come to my door? And it was so funny because I would have arguments with my dad about not working, and he would tell me, you're not going to have a job coming to the door. So that day he got home, I'm like, guess what? I had a job coming to my door, you know? And he's like, get out of here. I'm like, yeah. Josephine, you know, knows the neighbor in the front, you know, and he has a job. He has a company doing this. I start tomorrow.
Right.
You know? And which was cool because that's one of the jobs that, like, I actually like doing it, you know? A lot of downtime. You get paid hourly. A lot of downtime. You get to the client's house, jump in the pool, you know, have one of those little donuts, jump in, clean the calcium off the pool tile, move on.
Right.
So the problem is still getting high, you know?
Right.
So one day, it was probably the first week we did 6 days. The boss don't go with us, but he lets his right-hand man go. I'm with this white guy. I forgot his name, but and I'm there like, hey, bro, like we're on the way to Palm Springs, something like that. You know, all those nice houses over there. And I'm like, hey. So I'm just, you know, chopping it up, you know, getting ready. The guy in the back is asleep, and I'm like, okay, let's just do it before he wakes up. He wakes up and he looks over and he's like, what are you guys doing? Like his attitude was like into it, like, oh, what's up, you know? But little did I know he was just playing the part, you know? And so whatever, he did his, I did mine. We go about our day, and that day later at night, so I had gotten my friend Gilbert a job with me, you know, because me and him were tight at that time, you know? And I was like, hey, Gilbert, like, you know, I got this guy. He gave me a job. He pays real well, you know, like, if you want to get working. So me and like my best friend at the time were working together, you know? He doesn't know I get high. Like, I played it off for years,
right?
Like, you know? And so he doesn't know I get high. So we're partying, we're doing this, we're doing that. Every weekend is fun, whatever. And so that day that I'm telling you about, that his name was Buddy. Buddy seen us, and so that day we're at a party, and we're just about to walk in, you know. And my boss Brian calls me, and he's like, hey, man, what's going on? What's up? He's like, why would you risk my $100,000 company for your shenanigans? I'm like, what are we doing? He's like, don't give me what are you talking about. Buddy already told me what happened. And I'm like, dude, no way. Like, that was the job that I lost that probably hit me the hardest, because it was with my best friend. And like, now he has shares in the company. He's like, he tells people, so you know what I was supposed to do, he ends up doing, you know what I mean? Like, now he has shares in the company. He does everything for the guy, you know? He makes fucking 6 figures, you know? Like, and if it had not been for, you know,
all of his hard work and staying off of drugs.
Yeah, exactly, you know? And it's funny because I tried to go, well, not funny, it's pretty sad. I tried to go apologize through his brother, which was my front neighbor. Yeah. Guess what? I go spun out of I'm out of my mind. Like, if I were to see myself that day now, I'd be like, dude,
I made the right call.
Get out of here. Yeah. Like, come back later. No, it was bad. Like, you know, really bad. And he would tell me to my face, you know, I used to be a police officer. Like, I legally supposed to know when someone's under the influence of something,
Right.
and this is what's going on. I'm like, but no. So okay, so that happens, right? So now I don't have a job, but I'm still making money doing the check thing.
Right.
And now I hang out with people who are in the street, not giving a damn about life, And so I meet these two guys, One of them name is Chico, the other name is Juan. So I tell them about this check thing that I'm doing, Like, oh, really? Like, oh, we heard of that, but we don't really know anybody that has a good account. I'm like, dude, like, leave that up to me, So now, like, I still have people who I can go to, for these checks. So they take this to a whole nother level. They're like, forget writing checks. Why don't we get checks that are already written and then deposit them into an account? I'm like, what are you talking about? Okay. So now at this point, around that same time, I met my mentor. That's what I called him, my mentor. He kept me out of trouble, kept me out of the street. And he taught me a lot. He actually helped me discover myself, really, like the whole salesman part of me. We'll get to that right now. And so I would tell him what Chico and Juan would want to do. Like, hey, they want to go break into this, they want to go do that. And he's like, are you crazy? Like, why would you do that? Why would you waste? He always said I had this talent, I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking, dude, like, we smoke this. Like, why would you even think of me like that? I think it's a joke, But he wasn't joking, And so he would always have me do things. Like, instead of going and hang out with those guys, I would go to his house, and he always had me do something,
Right.
Hey, mow the lawn or thatch the yard or help me do this. Or, one time we redid his roof. Things that I didn't know I was able to do, just boom, So they take the check thing to a whole nother level, right? They break into this business. In the mailbox, you know how some payroll companies, they make the checks for the people? You know what I mean? Like they print the checks for the people and then take it to them or whatever. Well,
Right.
back then, that's what was happening, There was this big old mail thing. And in the mailbox, was he takes it out. It was a stack of checks of every employee for that week, They take them. Now we have all these checks that we can legit company, account, boom. So obviously the company's gonna see the checks were stolen.
Right.
So those checks are canceled, but you can still deposit that,
Right.
and it'll still clear it. Now, if you take it to a teller, then it's gonna be like, wait a minute, this check's no good. Am I right or right?
Well, if you went to their bank, but no, you could deposit it into anybody's bank and it's going to clear. It's just that it's going to bounce.
Yeah.
Like a week later or 5 days later, it's going to bounce. And so if you wrote a check for $3,500, you got $3,500. A week later, that check's going to go. It's going to bounce, and the bank's going to take the $3,500 back,
Yeah.
and your account's going to go in the negative. But you've
Yeah.
already got the actual cash. Now the account is burned.
Yeah.
It's the same thing you were doing.
Yeah, okay,
It's
okay.
essentially the same thing you were doing. Only these checks were written by legitimate businesses on a legitimate account. So you might have a little bit more time before
It catches. Exactly. So for like maybe, I want to say 2-3 months, it was glorious. Like
Right.
$1,800 was probably the least amount that we've seen. It was just every day. I found this one of my friends had this bank account with Bank of America for a long time. So they were asking no questions, just boom, 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 And so what they did, well, Juan and Chico, what they did is they got a hold of my friend, and then they went on their own. Does that make sense? So I'm like, okay, you guys want to do that? You guys want to cut me out? That's fine, because Don, and his name was Don, my mentor. His name was Don. He just recently passed. Rest in peace. But so he would tell me, like, why you hang out with those guys? You can do so much more with your life.
Right.
Still not knowing what he was talking about. I was like, okay, whatever, old man. So my friend, the one I went to, Ashley, her account got burned finally. The Bank of America account got burned.
at some point the check.
At some, obviously. So now Juan and Chico are like, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? And since they saw that none of the checks really like got them in trouble, what do? One of them makes an account. One of them themselves makes an account at U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank, if I'm not mistaken, is a second chance bank. Okay, if you messed up with Chase or whatever, something happened, you can use U.S. Bank as a second chance to go ahead and recover whatever, like credit or your credibility with banking, But the thing is, with second chance banks, if you deposit a check that's not in the account holder's name, that account is going to get flagged. So what do? He lets it be open without doing any checks, maybe like a couple weeks. Then he deposits one of these checks from that company. you know, but he doesn't, you know, you can wash a check and change the name and stuff like that, you know. He doesn't do that, you know. He's so desperate for money, he doesn't do that. Puts it in there. Matter of fact, that check was in, Chico had, you know, messed with it and put his name on it. So Juan puts a check in Chico's name in his own account.
Right.
So they flag the account. Not just that, the bank contacts the business that had written the check, and they're like, hey, we have this check that's written in this person's name. Really? Well, first of all,
we don't even know who that guy is.
Yeah. We don't know who that is. And second,
yeah.
that stack of checks are all canceled because they were stolen. Oh, really? So obviously, you know what happened next, you know?
They contact the police and they ask your buddy to come. Hey, can you come in real quick? Could you come in? We just need your sign. We forgot to have you initial something when you initially came in. No big deal.
And see, he was smarter than your friend. He was a little smarter than your friend. You know, he knew that. He knew at least that much. But so one day, Juan also happens to be, you know, the plug. You know, so me and some other guy were driving to his house, and we're like, hey man,
did he go in?
No, hell
no.
No.
So
he knew way better than that. You know?
Okay.
He knew way better than that. So he's free for a few more days. But obviously, they see this unravel. You know, the police are gonna start looking really into it, and they're gonna be like, "Well, we need to pay this guy a visit." You know. Now, Juan thinks that he's gonna, because he didn't walk in, he's good.
Right.
I'm like, no. So me and my friend Julian, you know, we're like, hey, we're trying to score. Let's go to Juan's house. You know, he's always got it. Cool. We get there, and I'm like, hey Juan. He's like, all right, I'll be out in a second. Okay. Little did we know, because it was a mobile home park. So we're on the other one side of the house, but on the other side of the house, he was having a conversation with somebody. Can you guess who that was?
The police?
Yes.
Okay.
So he's like, I'll be over there in a second. Okay, cool. So me and my friend Julian are just messing around, just talking, chopping it up. And before I know it, and think about it, I'm in my car, the door's open, right? And he's like this. I didn't even hear him walk up. And I'm like, oh shit, you know? I'm like, hey, well, how's it going? I'm like, just hanging out. You know, I'm like, oh, you know Juan? Oh, yeah, I'm getting to know Juan pretty well. I'm like, really? And he's like, well, what do you guys know about these stolen checks? You know, I'm just like, what are you talking about? So he like kind of like questions us, you know, trying to like get something out of us, but we don't know anything. Finally, when he realizes he's not gonna get anything, he's all right, get out of here. You know, we're investigating here. You know, like you're probably not gonna see your friend Juan anymore. Okay, whatever.
Ever?
Yeah, like I don't know, you know.
I mean, how many checks was it?
No, it was a lot.
Right.
You know, it was a lot. So we take off, and I don't see Juan or Chico for 2 years.
Okay.
2 years, you know. And so at this point, I go and tell Don, hey Don, like this and this happened. He's like, see, I told you, you know. He was like a dad, really, you know.
Right.
And he's like, see, I told you, why you hanging out with knuckleheads, da 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 da. And a few weeks after that, I finally realized what he was getting at with me, you know? So I'm thatching the yard. I'll never forget it. You know, thatching the yard so you can reseed it. So when thatching is a certain blade.
Okay.
You know, you put it on the lawnmower and then you put it to the lowest setting, and then it not only does it cut the grass, it just takes it out so you can reseed it.
All right.
Know? So you can put a whole new yard, because some of the grass was dead. It wasn't growing right. So I was thatching the yard. Boom, 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 boom. And he's looking on Facebook, and he's always like, you need to get a job, but nothing like a warehouse, because, okay, cool, whatever. So he's looking, and I know what he's doing, because he has his routine. You know, older people, they have, we all have our routines as it is, but older people are really on their routine. Like, they don't move it for nobody, you know? He's scrolling. And he's like, hey, come here. I'm like, what? He's like, look what I found. And he shows me this job listing for a car dealership, you know? I'm like, okay. He's like, why don't you sign up? And I started laughing. I was like, you crazy? Like, me, a salesman? And he's like, yeah. Like, I'm looking at how I'm dressed and everything. I got dirty shorts on. I got, like, dirt all on my face. I'm like, dude, like.
Well, you take a shower and put some different clothes
on. I know, but, I'm just like, there's no way.
Right.
And he's like, but you can. I'm like, but how? And this is where he tells me, like, you have the gift of gab. I'm like, huh? I'm like, what? Like, you have the gift of gab. I'm like, you can literally talk to people and persuade them into do maybe not anything, but definitely persuade them to sign this for a car. It's not that hard. I'm like, I thought he was joking, but I don't argue anymore, because he'll argue until the sun goes down. I'm like, I'm not trying to do that. So I sit on it. I sit on the idea. I'm like, okay. Like, why would he tell me this? Why would he set me up for failure? But I know him pretty well at this point. I'm like, he would not set me up for failure. Maybe he does see something in me that I don't see. So the next day, I'm like, okay, I'm going to fill out the application. He's like, all right, I'm going to go to the store. When I come back, show me what you got. So I fill it out, right? And the last question on that application was, why should we hire you? And in my head, I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to just say whatever comes to my mind. And I put, you should hire me because I can sell one of those cars to the very owner of the company. I'm thinking like, this is laughable,
right.
And so Don comes back from the store, and he's like, all right, what you got? So I show him the application. I'm like, look, this is what I'm going to put. And he sees the answer, and he starts cracking up. But after he stops laughing, he's like, that's the fucking attitude to have.
Okay.
And I'm like, what? Still not catching it.
It was extreme confidence.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm thinking, I thought it was a joke. He's like, no. So I submit the application. The next day, the whole thatch in the yard was like a week project, about a week. The next day I go and I'm breaking the dirt around, making it nice and even, And I get a call. Hey, this is so-and-so from so-and-so such dealer. I don't want to mention any, mention any names, but so he says, we really liked your application. Especially the last answer you gave us. I'm like, really? I'm thinking, really? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just thinking, I know, I feel like I have this thing where I can talk to people. I'm really good with people, I may not have the experience in any what the job entails or wants me to do, but I know that I'm good with people. And it's like, really? That's all we need. Because we want to train someone that we can mold them to our liking. This is a buy here, pay here. This is different from other dealerships,
Right.
So can you come in for an interview? Sure. I come in for an interview. I nail the interview, start the next day, and now I'm just smashing deals out. Like, it's just like no problem, boom, boom, boom. And like right away I start noticing, okay, like it only took me a few minutes to realize this person's having a good day, this person's having a bad day, or certain conversations sit well or not sit well with them. So I got really good at what I did, and it was straight edge. It was good. Nothing was going on, I totally forgot about any fraud that I had ever done. Everything was looking up. This is throughout the 2 years that Chico and Juan
Are gone.
Okay? So so they get out. I'm about 2 years in because I got this job right when they went in, So the thing happened with the checks. I got scared. Look, I've never hung out with people that I knew would get me in trouble. One thing is going to the principal's office because it's whatever. But it's another thing to be like, man, I got arrested and did whatever this much time.
Right.
Now I got to go see the judge. That I was so petrified of that for a long time, or still to this day.
Right.
But, things happen. So they get out, They get a hold of me. And they look at me and they're like, well, what's the next move? I'm like, what are you talking about, the next move? Like, he's like, yeah, man, like, you're not doing checks anymore? I'm like, no. Like, I'm making really good money here at this dealership. I like what I do. They pay for my license. Like if I don't make the quota, they still pay me. There's still a base pay, which I never needed to do that. But the fact that it was there was reassuring.
Right.
So they're like, okay, well, check it out. Look, this is what we learned when we were in jail. So they start pitching me their ideas, about credit card fraud and all this, all that, generating gift card numbers and stuff. I'm like, okay, well, how much is that going to bring? And they're like, well, we don't know. I'm like, then I don't want any part of it, And if you can come and be me like, look, we have these numbers generated. This is how much we're going to make in this much time, and this is the chance of getting in trouble. Then maybe I'll go for it. But right now, I'm selling cars, and this is what I'm doing. Just leave me alone. So they did for about a month, And it's crazy because like after like even now I realize like they came to me because they knew that I would figure something out. I would always figure something out. And so they come back a month later. They go to the dealership that I'm at,
Right.
And they both sit down there like, hey, like, can we talk to you? All right, let me just make it seem like we're going on a test drive,
Right.
So I had been doing so good at this dealership, like they trusted me, They were like, whatever file I brought to them, ID, whatever, social copies of everything, the application, everything, They would even have me look up the credit for them, like something that the finance manager is supposed to do and look over. Mm-hmm. But I got so good at it, they're like, hey, just run the credit and tell me what you see. Tell me if it's good or not.
Right.
Like pretty much doing their job, like,
Yeah.
So, okay. So we're on a test drive, and Chico and Juan are like, look, we have this idea. I'm like, I'm not risking my job. I'm like, wait, what if we were to come in, we apply for a loan. We use our name, but somebody else's social that has the same name. I'm thinking, in my head, like, I already had an idea about all this, you know?
Right.
Because I realized everything's just paperwork, you know? I'm okay. And I'm thinking, what issue would my bosses have with allowing this to go through or without them catching on? Got it. I was like I said, the address. If the address on their ID or driver's license is nowhere near anywhere on the credit report, that's going to raise a big red flag.
Right.
You know? Now, I know that it's pretty much common sense to say, even if an address has been recently added to a credit report,
you just moved.
Yeah, like it could kind of raise a red flag, just a little bit. But the thing is, it was me. They're like, oh yeah, Peter's got it. Peter's got it. You know, Peter's got it. Peter's got it. So they never questioned anything.
Right.
You know. So I'm like, okay, this is what I want you to do, Edson. This is what I want you to do, and I'm not doing it any other way because I'm not risking my job. Okay, what's up? And they're like, you have to make sure that the address that's on your ID somehow appears on the credit report. And that's easy. All you got to do is, you know, let's see, you make a Cashapp account, you put your address, you use their social.
You could apply for a credit card.
Boom.
Anything.
That's it. It'll just, you know, on the credit report, oh, a new address has been added to your file. And if the person that they're using is not monitoring their credit, they're never going to know.
Right.
You know, like you can apply for a card, have it sent to your house, and they'll still never know, you know?
So all they're really trying to do is what? Get a loan, buy a car?
Yeah.
In somebody else's name?
Yes.
But this has the same name as them.
Yes.
Where are they getting that information?
Okay, so there's a lot of websites, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you want me to say them or not, but like so like there are websites where so it used to be just straight debit card. Here are your socials, here are your driver's license numbers, here's whatever you need. It used to be through Visa, MasterCard. Now it's through Bitcoin, which makes it a little more anonymous, I guess you could say, you know?
So these guys are going on a website and saying, okay, I'm going to go on this website and I'm going to get the name, you know, my name is John Doe. I'm looking for someone named John Doe. And it gives me a bunch of people's John Does. And I find somebody who's roughly my age. And it's also going to give me their social security number.
Yes,
so
social security number.
Is this because so much information has been stolen?
Yes.
And so it's the kind of like the dark web. It's just a forum.
Not even that deep, but yes. So no, I swear not even that deep because the dark web is like it's whoa. It's like everything. You can literally become that person. You know? Right. But no, not that
They are
deep,
becoming this person.
No, pretty much.
Because they're still able to kind of just use. Are they using their IDs?
No, okay, so Chico and Juan are using their IDs.
Yes.
They went and got at the DMV, but they're using someone else's social. Does that make sense? Okay, so
okay.
You get me?
So but when you go to pull their credit, their date of birth doesn't match.
See, that's the thing though. Remember I said people trusted me. My bosses trusted me.
So even though that came up, it's still kind of irrelevant because the addresses match, the names match. Everything, but neither. The only thing that now looks odd is that it might say that hey, the dates of birth don't match, but that could be. But they have an ID.
Yeah, and like boom, there it is.
Here's my ID. This is my I don't know what the one on the credit is. So now there's two
on the credit file.
So it's a what do they call it? It's a fraud alert, but it's easily overcome by providing the actual ID. So
exactly.
Yeah, it is on there, but somebody entered it incorrectly, and now it's always coming.
The guy showed his ID.
Yeah,
and then also like I told him, look, because I knew the credit questions. I'm like, you have to get to know this person on paper enough to where you can pass the credit questions as well.
Yeah.
So they did. They would do their homework, and they were like, well, how do we do that? I'm like, dude, I can't do everything for you. I can't do everything for you.
Yeah.
You know?
If I have to do everything for you, I don't need you anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not splitting shit. I'll just do it myself.
Exactly. So I mean, I did it maybe the first time.
Right.
This is what you do.
Say it's possible.
Boom. Okay, it worked. I did the homework. Gave them the information. They one day, oh hey, how's it going? How you doing? Oh, okay, hey, my name is so and so. I'd like to apply for a loan. Cool. I already knew what was going on. You know.
I know.
Well, so my bosses So my bosses are like, okay, he's got another sale.
Yeah.
Cool. Fills it out. Uses that social. He's ready. He's got his ID and everything. And I'm like, hey, well, can I get a copy of your social? And he's like, you know what, man? Like, I just moved back from my old lady's house. We split up. I moved back to my mom's. In the move, I lost it.
Right.
So I go to my boss with this. I'm like, hey man, this and this happened. Oh yeah,
What
that happens.
You didn't care.
You know, it's cool. That happens. You know, he said, well, how much does he have? That was literally the number one question.
Yeah.
You know this. You know, how much does he have? Oh, he's got about $2,800. What car does he want? Oh, he wants this car. Well, what's his credit looking like? I haven't gotten that far yet.
Right.
You know, let me get that far, and then I'll come tell you. Run it. So that's what I knew. Okay, cool. Social thing, we're all good. So I would run the credit. It was obviously, I already knew it was good credit, you know?
Right.
Like, boom. Like, okay, all right, cool. So I would pop the credit questions out, you know, give it to them. They passed it, you know? So so everything flew. It went through, you know? Juan got his car. Chico got his car. I'm like, look, you motherfuckers need to make the payments.
They gotta make the
No,
payments.
well, listen. No, and for
They're
a
gonna
little-
go sell them to drug dealers
for a little
right?
bit they did, you know,
Okay.
because they had that respect, like, you know, like, hey,
Yeah.
like, I saw you guys go to jail. I'm not going to jail, like, you know.
Yeah, they
like,
at least got to make the first payment.
yeah. So like, you know, for maybe, no, it was actually a couple months, you know.
Yeah.
It was actually
No,
a
I
couple months,
know that. I'm just saying
Yeah,
that,
no,
that I'd be telling them you at least
Yeah.
got to make the first payment because the first payment defraud they're going to investigate.
Boom, exactly. Okay, so all right, so now they're like, well, what if we bring you all these people to do the same thing? I'm like, okay, we could do that, but A, they need to know that they got to make the payment.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally the most important thing. Anything else, I can probably fix. You know, if my boss notices an inconsistency, whatever, I'll be able to cover it up, whatever. You know, but the payment, like this is my main thing because I'm not gonna lose my job and I'm not gonna go to jail for somebody's stupid mistake. You know, if they can do that, and that's fine. So it took them a little bit, but they started finding people. Boom, boom, boom. Started bringing people in. You know, marry so and so. This and that. This and that. This and that. And this goes on for a long time. Like I want to say, like about a year and a half. You know. And
So at some point, I'm going to predict that at some point it's going to catch up with your boss's financing, and there he's going to lose his financing, and it's going to really probably devastate that fucking dealership.
You know, so because remember this company, the reason why they picked me is because they just started and they wanted to mold their salesmen. Like I told you, they wanted to mold their salesmen to how they wanted. You know, we had a seminar type thing where this like buy here, pay here, like guru, you know, came and told us how to improve and be better, and which is cool. Like I learned a lot from those 3 days, you know, and I'm like, okay, cool.
Like Grant Cardone, Andy
stuff like that.
Elliott comes in and
Yeah.
Rips his shirt off.
Yeah, stuff like that, you know? So I remember back in my day, you know, it was like I used to get a hat trick and it was nothing. I'm like, okay, guy, you know? All right. So then so this is going on for about a year and a half. And what's cool is like I keep tabs on these cars, you know? I'm like, hey, like, what's up? Are you making your payment? Yeah, okay, cool. Boom, 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 boom. Which is cool because the only thing is that didn't make sense to me is like you're making a payment to better someone else's credit. Like, does that not bother you? No, I wanted this car. I'm like, all right, cool. You know?
Yeah, well, I was going to say that the real problem is that if their credit was shot to begin with, then they're not good risks, and at some point they're going to stop paying.
Yeah, so yeah. Which is, I mean, I didn't see that coming. I mean, I did see it coming, but I just didn't know
You
it
just
was.
wanted it to not catch up with you.
Yeah,
Like, I
exactly.
don't mind if it happens, but if it's 2 years down the road, it doesn't catch up with you.
Yeah, because
If 3 months down the road, it catches up eventually, if enough of them do it.
Exactly. So about a year and a half later, they're like, we can't find any more people. Like we can't. We tell them about it, and they're like, no, I don't want to do that.
Right.
And I'm like, oh shit, because I'm used to these extra deals, you know.
Right.
Like, I'm literally getting employee of the month. My pictures on the wall. My pictures on the wall.
Right.
You know, they're like, hey Peter, like come tell this guy how to do it. I'm just like, well,
you got to get a buddy.
You know, and I mean, I did know like the fundamentals of how to be a good salesman.
Yeah.
But the fact that was going on,
Fraud pays more.
Exactly. You know. So okay, about a year and a half later, and they're like, well, we can't find any more people. And I'll never forget this. It was like around tax time. You know, tax time, everyone got money. Well, you know, everybody got money around tax time. And so like single moms and stuff. Hey, I got this person. And I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. Just bring them in. You know, like, can you at least make the first payment? You know. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, but you don't have a job. You're putting pretty much all the money you got from your taxes into this car.
Right.
And you're going to go and not make the first payment. You're going to lose it.
Right.
You know?
Well, they're not that smart.
You know? Like, yeah. I figured that, you know? So, whatever. Okay, so that goes on for about like 2 or 3 months. Now they're just literally just bringing people in. Oh, we got this person's name. We got this credit profile.
Right.
You know? They'll literally pull them from the bike trail. The bike trail is like this famous place where people, homeless people and drug addicts and whatever. So they would pull them out, clean them up a little bit, and then, they'll come in and be like, oh, my name is so-and-so. I'm just like, I'm looking at them like, oh, man, this is not going to end good, whatever. But the thing is, like, my boss, what really kind of hurt me the most at the end of the day is like, man, these people really trusted me. Like, these people really counted on me to make this company thrive,
Right.
And so about 3 months later, I want to say maybe, I don't know, maybe I didn't put a high number on it. Maybe like 20 or 30 deals,
Okay.
Yeah, 3-4 months later, 20 or 30 deals, all first month default. All of them. Like,
Okay.
And I remember I'm keeping up with this and I'm just like, oh my God, like, but the reason why I asked you earlier is like, when did you know you were going to get caught?
Right.
My next question was going to be like, when it happened, did you expect it to be then? And the answer is no. Like it's you never, it's going to happen. You just don't know when,
Right.
So, one day I get ready, I get up early that day too. I'm going to get ready. I'm going to go to work and I'm going to knock these deals out. I get to the office and my office is empty. Usually when they fire you, they give you a box and they tell you, go get your shit, get out of here. But no, they went ahead and did it themselves. Took the courtesy to be like, so all my stuff is also right outside the door of my office. I'm just like, are we moving? It was like, no,
You're moving.
exactly.
Right.
Like go talk to the boss in that office. Now that office that I'm talking about, I've seen people go in there, come out, fired.
Right.
Come out, you're bad. And if you're in that office, it's for a bad reason.
Right.
You know what I mean? And everyone I see them walk in there, they walk out, and then we never see them again. So I'm like, oh, it's my turn.
Right.
But I realize I'm like, it's not just gonna be my turn. I'm probably gonna go to jail because I already knew, like, they know what happened. So, I walk in there, and this big executive guy, like, I don't know, maybe a co-owner. I never really found out what his specific title was, but I knew he was higher up because when we did that seminar, he was the one that introducing this guru guy, And he's like, hey, I'm so-and-so. I'm an executive here, in the company, your boss answers to his boss and his boss answers to me, stuff like that, He made a big old, like, introduction about himself, So I seen him and I was like, oh, man. I sit down. I sit down. And he had, those boxes of the copy paper, for office, like the square ones with the lid on.
Yeah.
He had about maybe I want to say 6, 7, 8 of them. There was 1 or 2 on the table. The rest were on the floor. Obviously, you know what that is.
Yeah, these are the files,
Those
all
deals,
the bad files.
all the deals, and not just the first month defaults, like all of them, because they went back. Let me get there. So
they went through all your files.
Yeah. So he pops open the first 2 boxes, or just the first one. And he pops out like 7 manila envelopes or those folders, spreads them out. Opens the first one. He's like, so it's such and such name, such and such date, salesman, Peter Falcon. First month default. Closes it. Does this about 7 times. Now I'm getting the point to what he's getting at, And I'm like, and he's like, do you have anything to say?
The economy's bad. I mean, this is because the economy. It's who was president at the time?
What year is it? I want to say like 21.
21. Oh
no, 18, 19. Because 21 was when I started the real estate thing.
Trump, the economy.
Yeah.
Whoever it is, you blame it on the president. It's Biden.
Yeah,
it's the economy.
But he knew. He knew. And he's like, we know what you did. I'm like, and I was gonna say what? He's like, before you say what are you talking about? And then I was like, all right. Well, he's like, look, we know what you did. We know what's going on. We trusted you. You took advantage of the fact that we wouldn't look at the dates of birth. Because you were doing so well. Whatever file you brought to us, we just sailed it through because we did not expect anything to happen. But you have 32 first month defaults, back to back to back to back. And I'm just like, how are you gonna explain this? I'm like, well, look, I don't know. Like, these people seem like they were going to make the payment. And he's like, well, how is it that someone that doesn't have a job seemed to have a 750 credit score? Like, make it make sense. You can't. You know what it is? You fraudulently made these deals. Okay. And this is not, in my head, I'm thinking, this is the part where he says, I'm going to call the police. You can't go anywhere. But he said, here's what's going to happen. And I knew right then and there, like, I'm not going to jail.
Right.
I'm not going to jail. He's going to say something that's going to be like, okay. So he tells me, he's like, look, nobody wants to have an investigation be open on their establishment, especially an establishment that can barely stand up on its 2 feet.
Right.
You know, because we have less than 10 years open. Buy here, pay here is not very common, not very popular. A lot of people see that as like bad. Like we prey on people who have bad credit, you know? I'm just like, in my head, I'm thinking, well, we kind of do. Right. You know, like the interest rate is just, I don't know, it's terrible. I don't know if you know about buy here, pay here. Yeah, but it's terrible.
Right.
You know, like they're like, we're the bank, we approve who we want. Like, yeah, you also take advantage of people, you know? And when we were selling this like 2007 like Mazda CX-7 for it was like way overpriced, and then the monthly payment was outrageous, and the person was like, you know, man, I should call the police for a robbery on this one, but you know what? All right. Yeah, people would make comments like that all the time, you know, and then I was like, okay,
go somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly, you know. So like, if you couldn't get it approved anywhere, this is where they would land, you know. But of course, you've had your people come in, and because they like a specific model that we have, they got a 800 sell right through, you know. So no problem. But yeah, so he would tell me like, you mean this person doesn't have a job, but can make the payment, you know. But, I'm in my head, I'm thinking, how did you find out they didn't have a job? I would make everything, just like, you know, the statements, and I mean, you know, like the stubs. I would make the stubs, da, 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 da. So he figured it out because he would call the company. Yeah, that way, you know. And then so he's like, well, first of all, this isn't even the company's number, and this isn't, you know, this person doesn't even work there. Right. You know, and sometimes it was even like this company is not even real, like, you know, because as time goes on, you kind of like, as you can solve the problem, you start getting a little careless and more and more and more, because you're like, oh, this is easy, you know. I think you said it in the interview you had with Vlad TV, you know. That was the first one I seen. I watched all your interviews, by the way, all of them, you know.
You get brazen.
Yeah.
Right.
Which one?
No, I'm saying you, after everything keeps going through, you get brazen.
Yeah,
you start
bold.
thinking you're bold. Exactly.
Yeah, you get bold.
Same thing.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
You start to think you can't do anything wrong. Like they can't catch me. I'm that good.
That's exactly right. You know,
it's just ego. It just gets to you.
Yeah, because like it's like you said. The thing is, when you get a problem that comes up and you take care of it, you become more bold as you take care of it. Now the real trouble begins when you get problems coming at you faster than you can take care of them. That's when the real trouble, and like, man, he said it, like, it's true, you know? Like after a while, you're just like, oh man, so many problems coming at the same time, and you only have a certain time frame to solve them. It's not gonna happen.
You had 32 of them.
Yeah, 32 of them, man, 32 of them. And so let's get back to the conversation. And he's like, here's what's gonna happen. Okay. He's like, and it was weird because like the people that we were doing for like the first year and a half, they were actually making their payments. Right. You know, I was like, what? Okay, cool. You know, most of them were, you know. By then, Chico and Juan, they're driving around with this car that, yeah, the tow truck's looking for them, you know? Yeah. You get me? It was only a matter of time before, you know, they found them. But those first month defaults, look, here's what's going to happen, all right? We're going to find those 32 first month defaults. We're going to recover the car. And with the other ones, if they keep making their payment, cool. If they don't, it doesn't look like it was fraudulent, because years later or a couple months later, anything can happen. You lose your job, this, you know. So okay, well, if we gotta go recover the car, we don't know anything, right? You know, we just know that this person came for this car, they've been paying it, and now they're not paying it, so we gotta recover it. But at this first month defaults, we gotta recover these cars, or we're gonna be on the hook for that, because the finance company, you know, they're like, hey, what's going on? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They're gonna ask like, what's really going on? Yeah,
statistically, it's improbable. There's many who aren't going to pay. So, they think there's fraud involved.
So either recover the cars, or we have a problem. You have a problem on your hands.
So they want you to go recover 32 cars?
No.
The fuck am I gonna? Yeah,
they did it. You know. Okay. They did it. You know, because they didn't want to be on. They didn't want to have an investigation launched in their company. They didn't want anybody going through their files. You know, who does, right? Yeah. So they're like, look, we're gonna squash this right here. You know. You're gonna leave us on the hook for recovering these cars, but that's not a problem, because we can get them located. You know, okay, cool. But get your shit right. Get out of here. We never want to see you again. Okay, that's fine. So I'm thinking in my head like
the best possible outcome.
Right. You know, and I'm thinking in my head like, did that really just happen? Mm. Like, did that really just happen? It's like, yeah. So, but okay, note that within those days, I want to say like the last 2-3 months. I'm thinking in my head, I need to go to the next level. Like okay, car sales is good.
Yeah, that's the right attitude.
You know what I'm saying? Like I
I just dodged a bullet. Maybe I should reevaluate my fraud career here.
Yeah, and it kind of makes me think of like when you're answering a question in the interview, and it's like, well, I kind of got to the point where I was like, well, should I just go and start over, doing things straight, or just go straight fraud? And,
I made the same exact stupid decision.
Yeah,
I should have just moved in my parents' my old room in my parents' house and claimed bankruptcy and started my life over again. But that wasn't the choice I made. I felt like
you always go for exactly.
Not in jail.
Yeah. Ego speaks very loudly, man. You know what I mean? And so, but you don't know it at the time. You just don't know it at the time. Well, maybe you ignore it, So, all right. So I'm thinking, okay, I need to get into real estate. So,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Before I even had the conversation with the executive guy about being fired, and before they found out everything was happening, I was already. So Sundays was my day of like, I knew I wanted to do something more. I know I keep saying that, but like I just knew. I need financial freedom. and I'm not gonna do it by getting at a 40-hour week and wait for my pension to take care of me. Like I'm not gonna do that.
Right.
Like I see a lot of people do this. They're miserable. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. So, but I mean, I could have had a little more patience.
I was just thinking, but they eventually get a pension, and they don't have to go to jail. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're right. So, all right. So maybe about like two months before this thing hits the fan, like I'm like, I need to go to the next level. Like I need to do something to make more money. So I started looking I seen this guy. His name is King Kong. And I think he's Vietnamese or something like that, But I'm on TikTok scrolling one Sunday afternoon. Sunday was a slow day, Scrolling to TikTok, and he's like, you can make money, like doing real estate without a license, without using your own money. You see this check right here? Like he just goes to the video and he explains the whole thing, how to wholesale real estate.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, like I can do this, So like I get a hold of him. At that point, he was already so into his like.
You got a hold of him?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought you just started watching the TikToks.
Yeah. Like at some point in time, he was already so deep into his thing. It was hard to get a hold of him, But I would comment on all his videos and everything. Finally, I was like, dude, like you need to give me some pointers. Like, how do I do this? So like on the first deal, he was like, oh, just do this. I'm like, what do I tell the guy? Oh, do this. Epic fail. Everything falls through. He sees it. I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm like, okay, I need to take a different approach, So, all right, let me back up. So
that when he says, buy my course.
Yeah. I'm like, no. Right. Come on, man. Like, like that I knew was not going to happen. Like, I'm not going to buy your course. Like, whatever you learned on your own, and you didn't need a course yourself. So why should I need a course? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's making money off of people that, no, not happening. So, all right. So I stopped selling cars, and for about maybe 3 weeks, I'm like, kicking myself in the head, like, damn, I knew I shouldn't have done that. I knew, but hey, can't dwell on the past. You can only live in the present and plan the future, So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just dive deep into this real estate thing. And again, in my head, Peter, you cannot involve fraud.
Right.
Look what happened with the check thing. You dodged the bullet with going to jail. They went to jail, but you dodged the bullet. Look what happened with the cars. Again, you dodged the bullet and you didn't go to jail. You're not gonna get lucky a third time. So I'm okay. Oh yeah, I'm good. I can do this. I'll be making enough money with wholesale real estate that I won't need to do that.
Right.
That was the initial thought. So I, so I start and I started like networking on Facebook.
So explain the wholesaling.
Yeah.
The wholesaling concept. You're talking about what you're talking about. I think this is what you're talking about. Is what we used to call bird dogging. Have you ever heard that term?
Yes.
It's not a good term.
It's exactly it, though. Yeah.
But it's or I guess a more mainstream would be like a flipping contract. So you base it, or door knockers. I think that's what I have a buddy named Eddie Sorales who calls them like that, door knockers, where you go and you advertise, or you actually physically go out there and knock on people's doors and say, are you interested in selling your house? And so you get in touch with homeowners that are trying to sell their house, or maybe they're interested, maybe they're not. You contact them, you say, hey, would you be interested in selling your house? They say, if they say yes, you say, okay, I can probably get you
this much,
get you $100,000, even though in your mind, I could probably flip this house probably get an investor or somebody to buy it for 120. So you tell them, I'll get you 100,000. Can you give me 90 days? We'll put 1,000 in escrow, whatever. So they say, yeah, they sign it for
100,000.
Yes, $100,000 for 60 days or 90-day contract, and then you go to a hard money lender, or you go to somebody, some investor, somebody, and you say, hey man, I got this house for 120.
Yeah.
And but you got to buy it cash, and then so they schedule a closing. They go, everybody shows up, they close it. This person buys it for 120 from you.
Yes.
And you now have the 120, and you buy it from the original, the true owner for 100,000. You keep 20,000, and you really only own that house for a fraction of a second because really technically you sold the house before you even owned it. However, it's within the same day, so it's irrelevant on what the sequence of the events is because they're actually going to they'll actually file the deed transferring from the true owner to you and from you to the investor. He'll get the house, he'll renovate it, he'll sell it for $190,000 after he's put 30 or 40,000 in, and that's it. So it's a concept that's done all the time. Yeah, it just takes a lot of legwork. Yes, but when they hit, you make a nice chunk. You know, you're basically starving. Boom, it hits. Yeah. I got $40,000.
That's right.
Starving. Boom, I got another 25,000. Boom, and if you do it constantly, some of these guys are making $50,000 a month.
But it's like you don't sleep, man.
No, you're working 80 hours a week. You're taking phone calls all the day. It's nothing but problems.
Yeah,
but it's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is.
It can be.
Yeah,
can be.
So I mean, if everything goes well,
you know, if you can do it. Like if you're smart, which most people aren't, but if you can do it, if you can withstand the initial first couple of sales, and then that money, you hold that money and realize I'm going to live off of this money within my means. Yeah. Then it becomes much easier.
Yes, because you're not worried. Yeah,
you're not worried. I've got 45 grand in the bank, and then you get another 20, and you're only spending 10 a month. And so when they hit every other month, and then suddenly you have 1 month when 3 hits, and you're like, holy shit, I got 100 grand in the fucking bank. So, but what happens is most people, they get that 40 grand or that 30, 20 grand the first time. They blow through all of it, and they're broke, and they they spiral out of control, and then they go, what happened?
Well, you know what happened. You know what happened. So, okay. So I started getting into real estate. I take a deep dive in this, you know, and obviously I tried to do it by myself with the help of King Kong or whatever. Barely, but failed. I was like, okay, I got to take a different approach. So I go on Facebook and I start networking. I find groups of people that are wholesaling, you know, and so I become a part of this team. These guys are out of Chicago, you know, and so they're like, okay, here's what you're gonna do. Your job is to just find me. Skip trace the phone numbers and find me the owner's phone number and get in contact with them, and then I'll have someone else make the appointment, you know. Right. So that's what I did. I started skip tracing, and I realized right away that skip tracing only meant going on like Property Radar or a prop stream, and then just getting the phone numbers from there. I'm like, you guys are idiots. Like some of those numbers are so outdated, you're never gonna find them. So I started doing my own thing, you know. Started finding my own way, like so I would find the real phone numbers, you know. So then I would get in contact with them, pass the number along, and then the rest of that process happened. But I'm like, I don't just want to do this. Like I'm made for more of this. So I learned that process well. Then they moved me up to the one that talks to the owner and sets up the appointment. And you know, that took a little bit. And then I moved up to the one where I go to the appointments and I calculate ARV. I calculate how much we can really give them. I handle objections. I you know, with the owner and stuff like that. I pretty much, hey, sign this paper. You're gonna be all right. Right. And I got really good at it, you know. So once I learned the full process of the wholesale, I did not need the team anymore. Right. That makes sense?
Still, it's a lot of phone calls, right? It's a lot of phone calls, a lot of rejection. Yes. A lot of people saying, don't call me again. I'm not interested. Hanging up on you.
Yeah. So like I would call, be like, you're not licensed? Hang up. You know, or this and that. Oh, wholesaler, hung up, you know. But don't get me wrong. There were some people like, you know, Craigslist? So Craigslist, there was a lot of people that would welcome wholesalers. You know, hey, I'm trying to sell this property. I don't want to go through, through the MLS or whatever, yeah. I don't want to go through there because I have it. It's pretty much in. It's just 2x4s. You know, it's like I tried to rebuild it, didn't work out. Now I want to sell it. Right. You know, because I just can't keep up with it. You know, the project went bad, whatever. You know, So you get there and it's like half renovated.
Yeah,
Like,
but they can't sell that to anybody anyway because it's not like they can put it on and get a first-time home buyer.
Yeah,
It's half a house.
Exactly.
You have to have an investor come in because he has to complete it or tear it down and start over.
Exactly. So these are the ones that I loved.
And they don't want to go to a real estate agent because why would now I got to pay seven if it's 7%.
Yeah.
So if I'm selling the $100,000 piece of property, I lose $7,000 right off the
bat. Yeah, right off the bat.
Right.
Definitely.
I'm already in a shitty position.
Exactly. You know, and so yeah, those are the ones that I come to love because like, oh, it's easy. You know, and like I just get an investor. You know, and the owner knew that they were in a hole.
Yeah.
So when you give them. Honestly, it's always a shitty offer because you're trying to make money yourself.
But you're in a shitty position.
You know, and so, and
if you could sell it, if you were in a great position, you wouldn't fucking need me.
Exactly. You know, so that was kind of the speech I would give them. You know, like,
it's really the same thing as the buy her, pay her.
Exactly. That's funny because it's true.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, you're taking like when you're like, oh, you're taking advantage. Well, then go somewhere else. And then, well, I can't go anywhere. So I'm really doing you a favor.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to look at it in a negative light, then that's fine. Yeah. Go under. Take the bus.
Yep.
Walk an hour and a half to get to the bus, take the bus for 45 minutes, go to your fucking shitty job for 8 hours, get back on the fucking bus, ride for 45 minutes, walk an hour and a half, spend 4 hours a day on that shitty transportation that sometimes doesn't even run.
Yeah, exactly.
They cancel buses. I didn't even know that till I got to the halfway house. Sometimes you're sitting there at the fucking bus station and the bus never comes.
That's right. That's right.
And you're like, what? Yeah, oh no, they shut it down the line today.
Yeah.
I have a job.
Yeah.
So, but the whole thing is that really it's like you got yourself in a shitty position. We're going to lend you a car. We're going to gouge the crap out of you. You suck it up, make the payments.
Yeah.
And at some point you'll be able to refinance or go get another vehicle.
It'll be better. You'll be better
off.
Exactly.
But you put yourself in this position. Yeah. We're doing you a favor.
And it's funny you say that because when I was doing the car sales, there was one black guy. He was like, dude, but you don't understand. Like, you know, I got shawties calling me and they telling me, can you come pick me up? And I can't even text back because I don't have a car. I'm like, which is more than enough reason, and I pushed the paper to him, for you to sign this paper,
right?
You know? And he's like, but you're telling me that this car is worth this much, and you get me for this much. Like, dude, like you know, it's up to you. Like, you want to be able to text back saying, okay, I'll pick you up, or do you want to be like, I can't? Yeah. So he's like, all right, and he signed. Which it's true. Yeah. It's like, hey, don't look at it as a shitty car.
Trying to get you laid, bro. Yeah. Trying to help you out.
And look at it as an opportunity to stop this madness. You know, your credit's gonna get better. It's gonna be a distant memory, and at the end of the day, so boom. And that was more or less when people would give me trouble. That's more or less how the speech would go. And okay, you know, they would sign. All right. So it was
real estate guys.
Yeah. So real estate was a similar thing. You know, they're gonna give you objections. Now the objections in real estate are a little heavier because it's a lot more money involved.
Yeah.
You know? And then you have the whole emotional ties to the house. And it's like, but you don't understand. I've lived here for this long. I'm like, dude, like, you know?
Or then don't sell it. Oh, but I need to sell it. Okay, what are we doing here? I'm not
exactly.
I'm not a psychiatrist.
Exactly.
Like, you take some of this money and go get yourself a therapist on your emotional attachment to this house.
Yeah.
Or the guys that, it's funny because people would always say, well, I don't understand. Why can't these people put the house with a real estate agent? Well, here's the problem with the real estate agent is that the real estate agents predominantly are getting buyers that can qualify for a loan from a bank. But the bank needs the house to be in good condition.
Yeah.
You're going in shitty neighborhoods where the houses have had no maintenance in 15 years.
That's right.
And they will not pass the bank's inspection or appraisal of the house.
Yeah.
You get an appraisal, you go to the bank with that house, and they say, this house needs a new roof. The ceiling's falling down in the back of the house because it's leaking. Yeah. The roof's leaking. It needs new drywall.
Plumbing, whatever. Yeah.
There's plumbing problems. That you need $30,000 worth of work, and the bank says, "Look, our buyers are qualified, but we're not lending them money on this house." And the person in the house already knows that at some point.
Yeah.
They know this house is so shitty, I can't sell it on the market for $200,000.
Yep.
Right. So, and it needs $30,000 in work, and then they think, okay, so I should be able to sell it for $170. No,
no way. Yeah,
that's not the way it works either. Why would an investor come buy it for $170, put $30,000 so that he can
make nothing?
To make nothing. He's
not
not going to do that.
Yeah.
He needs to make money. He wants to make $50,000. So
right.
take the 30 plus the 50. Now you're down to 120. And then you really just have to keep chipping away at him. Get him down to that 100,000 mark.
That's right.
Where you can make it. And I want to make 20.
Yeah, exactly.
Why? Because I'm doing you a favor.
Yep.
Or just let the house go into foreclosure, bro. You'll be on the street. You'll have nothing.
Yeah. And that's what we would tell them, you know. And it's crazy because look,
I
so
know I sound vicious when I say that.
no,
don't I?
hey, it's the truth.
It's
though.
the truth.
It's the
though.
truth.
People,
yeah.
if they can't handle the truth.
Yeah, it's you're very right, you know. And it's crazy because so the first deal that I did it by myself that went successful was my buddy Vince's house. You know, he was this old man. You know, remember I used to be out in the street, like just
Right.
just the ice.
Right.
And I knew this old man. You know, he was a really like high end welder. Got fired for drug testing he did wrong, and just never recovered from that. You know, to him that loss was so like just so tremendous that he just fell in this hole and just felt sorry for himself the rest of his life. You know, and he was smart. You know, we had a lot of conversations, and he taught me a lot. But you could just see like, oh, he gave up.
Yeah.
You
There's
know?
a lot of still smart homeless people.
Yeah, and so I go there. This is how Don lives a couple streets down, right? Vince lives over here. So I'm going to both places. When I'm not at Don's, I'm at Vince's, helping them out. And it's funny because I didn't realize until like maybe not too long ago, that kept me out of a lot of unnecessary trouble. Because I would hear friends that, oh, they went to jail for stealing copper. I'm like, bro, copper? Like, come on, this stupid shit, So it was because I was dealing with these two friends of mine that kept me out of a lot of trouble. So I thank God for that. I really do.
So what was the deal with Vince?
Okay, so Vince, about maybe a year, 2 years passes by. And this is before I did real estate. This is before I did real estate.
Okay.
I'm my friend Vince. Now I'm doing real estate, and I remember in my head, I'm like, those letters. He would get letters from the IRS for the taxes. He's back on his taxes. There's going to be a time where they're going to be like, you either pay the taxes or the house is going to be ours.
Okay.
So I go to his house and I'm like, hey, Vince, like, can I see those letters? Like, what letters? I'm like, dude, like, come on. Like, you told me what they were. You told me what's going on. What's up with the letters? So he shows me. He says, all these letters, you're this much. In 1 year you're this much back in back taxes. You're this much. And then at the end of the day, it was like $14,000. And like now we're going to seize his house, because you're not paying your taxes. Okay. Now you have this long, to get out. All right. Well, what if we just sell it right from under them before they come and take it? Okay. And that's literally when I got my first successful deal.
So you come up with an agreement with him?
Yeah, I come up with an agreement with him. Obviously, like he was my friend. Like
right.
I'm like, hey, look, I'm trying to learn this business.
Right.
I'm trying to do you a favor. I know people that can get rid of this house for you where you don't have to lose out on all the money. It's worth about, in good condition, it was worth about maybe $380,000, $400,000.
Right.
The way it is right now, you're looking at less than half. There's mold everywhere. The new roof. Like this. It used to be Tweakerville in there, bro.
Right.
Like bad.
So you get a contract for what,
Yeah,
150?
Yeah, about 150, 140, 150,
Okay. And then you flip it to somebody for what?
Yeah, so I flip it to, what were their names? Something investments, And I was like, look, and he's like, take pictures of everywhere that needs repairs. Take pictures, and I kind of was able to calculate it. I was like, okay, this part of it will cost this much, this money, this much lumber, da da da. Right. So I give him a number. Look, it's gonna cost you this much. Boom. This is what you can make if I sell it to you at this much and you do all the repairs. There's gonna be this much. Make sense?
Yeah. So what'd you sell it to him for? What'd you flip it to?
So I got it for 140, and I gave it to him for like 165. 165.
Nice.
25 grand.
25 grand.
25 grand. Boom, like that,
Yeah.
First deal. Boom. All right. So I'm thinking every deal is going to look like this, you know? But it's not the case, because if you're the one that finds a good deal and you're the one that knows the owner, yeah, obviously they're going to cut you some slack. You're going to make a little extra coin. But that's not the case every time. Usually you're going to go find someone that you don't know. You're going to go find someone that's in a problem. And obviously everyone wants to make the most amount of money they can, right? Okay, so we did Vince's deal. Got a check for 25 grand. I was like, wow, that's it? That's all it takes? So I'm thinking that every deal is going to go like that, but it doesn't, So do you know what a daisy chain is? You know what that is in wholesaling?
I don't, I'm assuming it's multiple people are flipping the property.
Yes. Okay, so let's say this person comes to me, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, I have this property. The spread on it is 25,000. Okay, so you're telling me that both of us can make 25,000 on this? It's like, no, I'm the third person that they pass this to, but I've tried and I can't find anyone, and you tell me that you know people here and you know people there, this area, this okay, can you pass along this deal and find us an investor, and then we all get paid. So in the daisy chain is everyone that's in that deal, when the house finally sells, everyone gets paid.
Right.
You know, because everyone's under a legal contract saying, hey, I'm going to pass it to you when it finally sells. You owe me this much.
Yeah, so there's only $25,000.
Yeah,
so everybody ends up with $5,000.
Something, you know.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how it started going. So I was like, okay, like, oh my god, $5,000 here, $4,000 here, $3,000 here. The next check I saw that was all right was one of the casinos in Vegas. I think they were selling the Mandalay Bay or something like that. You know, I got real deep into like on knowing like investors and stuff. You know, people and then the investors that knew, you know, like people that had even more money, hard money lenders and stuff like that. You know. Mm-hmm. So like really big people, you know, and then so one day I get this email because they would blast emails out for the deals that they had for the week, and they were like, "Oh, look, this is real money maker right here. They're selling this casino," and I'm like, oh, "How am I going to sell a casino?" You know. But anyway, so I take it, and I present it to the other people that I know. I'm like, hey, "Look, I don't know if you know anybody who has this much coin, but if you do, let me know because they're selling this, you know." And everything was there. The potential numbers, how much you're gonna make if you buy it, you know, everything was there. So, all right. So then that deal I literally forget about it because I'm thinking this is not gonna happen. About a month later, I get a check for $17,000 in the mail. I'm like, the hell? What's this? You know. So then I call. I'm like, hey, what happened? Oh yeah, you know the casino that you sent Terrence? I'm like, yeah. Like, yeah. Well, he found people and they sold it. I'm like, damn. So it was daisy chained, maybe like 20 people.
Right.
20 people.
You
so
were just one. You were one in the line.
One in the line. They sent me my check. I was like, dude, that was awesome. I didn't think that was gonna happen, but it happened. Okay. All right. So I get into this groove, you know, wholesaling real estate, legit, you know, doing my own thing, you know, and like I've always been one to do things by myself, you know, whether it's like legit or not. Because at the end of the day, if things are going to happen, it's going to be my fault. I'm the one who's involved, and I'm the one who suffers the consequences, you know? And, but, I mean, obviously, over time, these decisions can kind of, you know, these standards you have, you can kind of skew them, whatever, okay? So after a while of just doing 4,000, 3,000, you know? Because I remember the casino was like a phenomenon thing. So was Vince's house. Now I'm like just chipping away 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 every, you know? I'm like, fuck. But I'm so used to spending the money that I would spend, you know, like with these big ones. I was like, okay, well, I got pretty like fed up with like I need more money. I need to make more. I need because I would look at the checks that they were writing out for these owners. I'm like, damn, like I need me one of those. I definitely need me one of those, you know. So that's when remember I told you when I first started real estate, I told myself, don't involve fraud. Mm-hmm. You know, you dodged a bullet the first time, you dodged a bullet the second time. It's not going to happen a third time. Well, having that conversation with myself a second time, it was futile, as it say, you know, futile. Like, because by the time I even get started, hey, I'm already thinking of something. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do something. So after I got really good at the craft of wholesaling real estate, I dove deeper into learning about it. Deeds, the legality of everything, you know, like how to get a house through paying the taxes. You know, you get the tax certificate, and then if they don't pay, you get the tax deed and stuff like that, you know. But then I also realized that part of the market is flooded. Everyone knows that already, so that, you know, they're just gonna outbuy you. You know, they're just gonna out you know, like
Whenever people ask me about it, I'm like, you understand that there are corporations that are there are companies that do nothing but go out and buy those things, and they'll wait 3-4 years, buy them all up, and then they'll buy they're set up to do this. Like you can't compete with them, and they don't have to make that much money either. Like they're okay with making just a very small amount. Where if you do it, you need to get that property, sell it, and make $50,000 or $100,000 or something.
Or they're
willing to make a lot less than that, and so the competition is gone. There's no, it's oversaturated with these companies that are willing to make a little bit of money,
like
because
7,000-8,000. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Because it's so secure, and they can wait. Yeah. It's a corporation. Yeah. We got 180 of these things we're buying, and every month we're closing on 4 or 5 of them, adding 4 or 5, and it's just a machine.
Yeah,
you can't do that.
Yeah, exactly right. So that's what I would tell people. Like, okay, so I got so good at this that I started making my own team, and I spread out to different states. I had someone in Indianapolis, Indiana. I had someone in Connecticut. I had someone where else? In Hawaii. That was tough. That state was tough. Just all over. There's like 8 of us,
Right.
8 of us. So even though there was 8 of us, like every person would take care of their state, and then every person would, like, if I had found, let's say, more leads than I can take care of, I would spread them out to them. Like, hey, make these phone calls. See if you can set up an appointment. I'll go to the appointment. Or if like my friend Dirks, he's the one from Hawaii. He would be like, hey man, I'm having trouble with this owner. Like, can you talk to them for me?
Right.
Okay, I'll call him. Hey sir, how's it going? This is quality property solutions. Like we're here to help solve your problem, because I would always make this speech, like, real estate is not the selling and buying of property. It's really problem solving. Either the owner has a problem he's trying to get rid of, or something's going on. We're here to help you. And we know that you don't want to pay real estate agent fees because they're outrageous. So you don't have to worry about that. Stuff like that. That would kind of be like, oh, okay, a friend. Not really, but
right.
So then I would talk to them, and then they would kind of like get like a little more like, okay, so then, did he sign? Okay, cool. Go and sell the contract, because he had his people too, and like, so we would have meetings and be like, how's everybody doing? Blah, 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 blah. It was going great, but then came that day where I was like, I want to score like 100 grand, 200 grand, So then, so I still kept it going, having the meetings with my team, but I was teaching myself about the deeds and stuff like that, what you can do, what you can't do, like stuff like that. So I come across this deed. It's called a transfer on death deed. I don't know if you know about that. I'm pretty sure you do. Okay, so a transfer on death deed, it's almost like a quick deed. It's just boom, boom, here you go.
Yeah.
So the transfer on death deed states that, hey, when I die, as the owner of the property, when I die, this person takes over. That's it. And it says right there, how are you going to give this person this? Did they purchase it from you? Did they give you any money? You just put gift. You just check mark gift. Obviously go to a notary, stamp it, whatever. File it to the county clerk. Done deal. Now, I made it look like that happened, but really, that's not what happened. So once I found this deed, I was like, okay, how do I do this? Like, how do I take over a property without getting caught or without anybody coming back? So, hey, that's mine. Or hell, that's my dad's house, whatever. Okay, the obituaries. So I'm like, okay, people die every day, and it just so happens that this deed is valid for 60 days. After somebody's death or after the notarization of the document. I'm like, okay. So if they died 2 days ago,
right, or a week ago,
whatever,
within the 60 days,
within the 60 days, and
you can create a basically, I always think of it like a deed in lieu of foreclosure. You're thinking of a deed in lieu of death, or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
What do you call it?
Transfer on death deed.
Okay, transfer upon death deed. So you're just creating a transfer of death deed. And finding an obituary and saying, okay, this person died 3 days ago, or they're dead. They're dead. They've been dead 5 days. Their funeral's tomorrow. I have their full name, and then you research that name. Say if they have a house, what?
Yeah. Okay. So I would go to the obituaries, and I would make the list or print out the list of names. It was a lot of names. It was a lot of homework, man, but it was worth it at the end. Well, So then, I mean, in the moment, I thought it was worth it. So then I would search up every single name, and then see if they own property, And most of them did, but then you got to narrow out the ones that have family. You got to narrow out the ones that still owe the bank. Because there's a big difference in when the homeowner wants to sell the house and he still owes the bank. The bank's like, wait a minute, come here. We're going to check everything before we even let this go, because some of that equity is still ours. So we want to know everything.
Well, they're still owed the mortgage.
Yeah, we know what I mean. You know what I'm saying. Some of the value, some of the property, they still owe us his mortgage.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying. So Yeah, so the bank's going to check everything thoroughly, no matter what, if they're involved.
Right.
But if you find someone that is fully paid off, 580,000 equity, 580, that's what they own. Cool. Banks aren't involved. Cool. So then it was like just narrowing down.
The kids.
And so
As long as they don't have kids.
As long as they don't have kids or family, that was the toughest part, because now you have to go on all these websites that to find family members and stuff like that. That was the hardest part, because sometimes it would list that they wouldn't have family. You go somewhere else, and it's like, there one is. Makes sense? That took about 3 weeks. Buying like the premium accounts on these websites, where if they change their number yesterday, it'll be on there.
Right.
That makes sense?
Okay.
So, right. So they own property, got to be fully paid off, no family. And so those are the 3 things. Once those 3 check marks were done, then starts the process. I would get the transfer on death deed, right? I would already have it made. Just wait for someone, because I would talk to people like, hey, what do you feel? How do you feel about this? I know of this property that we can take over the ownership of. I can sign it over to you, and I explained the whole thing. Like, we have to wait 60 days after the ownership changes because of such and such. I'll get to that right now. So I explained it to them. Okay, let's do it. So then I would go to the website that has like the information, like the deeds. I would purchase a copy of the original deed, forge the signature from the old deed onto the new deed, put the person's name that I talked to on the deed. How did you know this person's friend? Signed. And obviously you're probably asking, how did you notarize it?
I'm thinking how I would notarize it. But how did you notarize it?
So I screenshot a notary stamp that was on a deed that I was looking at a lot of deeds. On a deed that I saw. I screenshotted it, and I'm like, I went to officedepot.com, went to custom stamps, and then it's funny, like they don't have like the custom stamps, they don't have the size of the notary, like, and that's on purpose, obviously, But I was like, if I get one that's a little bigger and I kind of just proportion, I can like size it up, I can get it. It took about 3 tries, but and the last one was like, that's it.
Right.
Now I have a notary stamp. You know what I mean? So I'd make the deed, forge the signature, boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, all right, now we have it. Now go file it to the county clerk. How do I do that? I'm like, dude, we're over here. I'm about to potentially make $100,000, and you're asking me how to go. Just go into the building, say, hey, I have this deed. I want to file it.
Right.
The deed is literally like where that piece of paper says everything was done. A transaction was made. The notary notarized it. Everyone involved is aware of what will happen. This is the receipt to the house. Boom. That's what it is. Like, why would anyone ask anything?
Well, you just hand it to the clerk.
You hand it to the clerk.
They do everything.
$85.
They don't expect you to know anything, to be honest.
Yeah,
because you know what I'm saying. They don't. Because you're just somebody from the public. You don't really know what's happening. You're just going and saying, "Hey, I have this deed. I don't know what to do." They're like, "Here, give it to me." They take care of everything else. You pay $12 or $18 or whatever it is.
No, it's like $80.
Oh, is it $80?
Yeah, in California, it's like $80.
Oh, it's California. Here, it's like 12.
That's crazy.
So and that's it. Yeah. So and then it's done. And it depends on what county it is. Maybe they'll mail you back the copy, or maybe they scan it. Sometimes they'll scan it right there and hand you the original back.
So they make a copy. Okay. So this was trial and error, the first property, because I didn't have the wet stamp. I would just make a photocopy of it,
right?
And they'd be like, "Do you happen to have the wet stamp?" And so this is what the person's telling me. I send someone, they come back and they're like, they said something about a wet stamp, and then I'm like,
I said the original stamp.
Because they want to see the ink,
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
So, but you've got like a copy. They want like a blue, or they want to be able to look and say, this is clearly a different type of ink. This is an original. They want the original copy.
Exactly, But this is before I came up with the Office Depot idea, you know. And then so by the third time they didn't let us file it. I'm like, and then because I had them say, look, if they give you trouble, just say, hey, no, I made a copy of it and I'm bringing you this copy because I don't want to lose the original.
Right.
Which is valid if you ask me. It's valid.
Right. But
so,
they still want to see the original.
So by the third time, I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking that night, like, how do I do this? I'm like, okay. That's when I came up with the idea.
Right.
Screenshot it. Go to Office Depot. Boom. So now we have a notary stamp. Now that problem is solved. And so then now these people, so this is the first time, the first property. I file it, they file it, goes through 2 weeks later on the websites like Property Radar and stuff. The ownership changes. You know, went from this person to that person. And then you look at the history of the property.
You're right there.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so but now we have to wait 60 days. You know, and especially with that deed, a transfer on death deed, you have to wait 60 days to be able to sell it in case there's issues with how valid the deed is. There's issues like if there's any like debt that the original owner had. The debtors will come in and say, hey, they owe us this much money,
right.
you know, and stuff like that. And then the last one was if there's any just out of nowhere next of kin
right.
to come claim their property, you know. My worry was the validity of the deed, but if no one's gonna come claim it, who's ever gonna question the validity of the deed? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And Public Records isn't making any phone calls. They're not trying to figure it out.
So their job is to just to file it. Done deal, you know. So those 60 days were kind of like, you know, I was like biting my nails off, you know, just nervous. But once the 60 days was up, it was easy. It was so easy.
You transferred. So what was the house worth?
Okay, so I was focusing on areas like the desert. Like, okay, so you have LA County, you have San Bernardino County. San Bernardino County, for the most part, has its cities like Rialto, San Bernardino, not Riverside, another county, but if you go more out on the 10, you see or the 10 or the 15, like coming up towards like Victorville and stuff like that, is desert, you know, right. And like houses that aren't worth much, houses that people don't pay attention to because they're so far out there that it's like whatever, you know,
right.
Like they'll buy it and they just leave it. Like it's almost like in a bait property, you know what I mean? Like they just leave it alone and the government's gonna come in. Like if you don't fix this property, we're gonna take it from you, stuff like that, you know.
So how much are these properties?
Like okay, so the first ones were like. Okay, maybe about 180,000.
Right,
but they needed repairs.
Yeah, so you're not selling it for 180.
Not selling it for 180.
But you own it outright.
Yes,
you own the property. So
yes.
What are you selling for? Like 120?
No, if anything, we saw like 80 grand.
Oh, okay.
Because this houses were bad.
Right.
You know, like I'm surprised they were able to even keep one wall and rebuild. You know, they're talking about just tearing it down. That would cost a lot more money. You know, so but yeah, so we sold it. We sold that one. The first one for about 80 grand. I mean, yeah, no. We got 80 grand, you know?
Okay. After the closing costs and all the other bullshit.
You know? Yeah, we got about 80 grand.
Okay. Who's
and,
we?
Okay, so I had a friend. Her name's Melissa, you know?
Okay.
And
his name's Melissa?
No, her name, you know?
Okay.
So she's really the one that found the transfer on death deed.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, look. And I'm like, no, there's no fucking way.
Right.
And I look and I was like, dude. So she thinks that because she's small, she found that little detail.
Right.
Now she's entitled to everything. And I'm like,
right.
I didn't have time to argue. So I'm like, look, okay, whatever, you know? So now, so when I see weeds, you know, she's just kind of like dragging along, you know, kind of drug her along, you know?
So you closed. So what did you do? You went and you found an investor.
Mm-hmm. I already had people, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, I already had people, you know? I was like, hey, I have this deal. I have this really good deal, you know? I haven't really nailed the guy yet, but once I do, you know, I'm going to come straight to you, you know? And
they have actually have to go in and you have a closing?
Yeah. Yeah, so we go, you know, everything happens.
Did you sign up? Did you show up and sign your name at the closing?
No, because I didn't transfer it to me.
Who'd you transfer?
I transferred to somebody that I knew. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I was like, look, like
transfer it to Melissa. She wants to. She's so fucking thrilled about
this. Obviously, she knew the risk,
right?
You know? So she was like, no. But just people, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, they kind of knew the risk, but they were like, hey, well, you know, we're making money, right? I'm like, yeah, bro. You know, like we got to split maybe 80 grand, you know, between us and whatever, you know. And so yeah, so obviously they would get a good chunk of the 80 grand. I would get another chunk of the 80 grand, and then that was that, right? And nothing ever happened on the first one. Mm-hmm. The second one either. So the second one.
Can you really quick? Can you, because you just explained that over 10, 15 minutes. Can you break it down very simply for the audience? To like this is what we did. You know, the whole process.
Yeah, very quick. Yeah, I found a property that was.
So in a nutshell, what I would do is. Well, after I had the idea, I was like, I need to make more money. I'm like, how? Okay, so dead people don't need their things anymore, you know?
Right.
Obviously, right? They're dead. So I would go and I would go on the obituaries and I would find their names and then look and make a list of people, see who owned property, and I had this little checklist that I would check off, you know? If it's fully paid off, okay, it qualifies. Mm-hmm. If they don't have family, that qualifies. If they own it all the way 100%, check off. Okay, so they had to not owe the bank, they had to not have family, and they had to be, like.
Yeah, I understand.
So, okay. So those properties were the ones that I would go for. Okay.
Right.
So then what I would do is I would go and create a fake deed, which is a transfer on death deed. A transfer on death deed allows someone to attain ownership of a property once the owner is dead. No questions asked. That deed means that.
Right.
Okay. So then I would make a fake deed, forge the owner's signature to the new deed with a transfer on death deed, and transferred that property to someone that I knew.
Right.
And then now remember that deed is valid for 60 days after somebody's death.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if they're dead already, because
Yeah, I understand.
So the signing on the paper was 2 weeks before they died. So it was valid.
It backdated it.
So now we own a property that's worth 180 grand.
Right.
So then after that, we would wait the 60 days and then we would sell it.
You sold it to an investor.
Sold it to an investor that I had already lined up, you
Right.
know? And that's how we started making money, and then because it worked. The next one was this little duplex, same area, Lucerne Valley, Yucca Valley. I really didn't like to dabble with like Apple Valley and like Hesperia because it was getting to the point where how populated it was. I'm like, no, that's too big of a risk. Like even if I do find one that fits my criteria, chances are somebody's gonna come and be like, that's my dad's house,
Yeah.
or that's so and so's house,
Right.
So to me, the more tore down it was, the more chances was that
Nobody's paying attention.
Nobody's paying attention to that,
Right.
So this one was worth about the same, because it was trash, It was literally like falling apart, and it was out there, It was in Lucerne Valley, in places like that. The nearest fast food restaurant is like, 15-minute, 10-minute drive. No one wants to live out there. So we do that one again. Start the process. I make the fake deed, forge the signature, transfer to somebody else, and 2 weeks later, ownership changes. 60 days later, now you can sell it because, title companies won't issue you title insurance until those 60 days are up.
Okay.
Because they want to make sure nothing's gonna come back. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I said, how valid the deed is. If the original owner owed any money to anybody or anybody that could be next of kin, we give it 60 days to where they have the opportunity to come in and claim whatever they want to claim.
Right.
So after that, you get title insurance. So we'd be able to sell with title insurance. So then that happened, and but the thing was, like, now I got to start showing up. You know what I mean? Because the person I transferred it to, I was like, they just don't know anything.
Right.
Like the person who's buying it wants to be able to talk to somebody who knows the lingo, who seems like they're competent enough to even be owning a property. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So now I got to show up. Now they're seeing my face, and I'm just like, oh, if things would ever go bad, like they know my face, hey, this guy, and I had a company too, so Quality Property Solutions, like
Everything leads to you.
everything leads to me. So the second one happens, done deal. All right. The third one was
How much you make on the? What'd you make on the
okay.
second
On the
one?
second one, we probably made about the same, about 85 grand,
Okay.
85 grand, and I had become so paranoid about getting in trouble that I met this guy, through my friend, that check cashing place, He kind of knew what's up, kind of didn't. He just knew that not everything was on the up and up,
Right.
But it was enough to where, hey, if anything happens, I don't know anything. If you can play that card, well, okay, cool. So it was cool. He was cashing our checks. I just didn't want to go to the bank for some paranoid reason, So, because I mean, why would I not want to go? It's under their name. Like, what are you doing wrong? I don't know. I just wouldn't go. I was just too paranoid. Okay. The third one was about the same. Same thing. That time we saw 100 grand. Yeah. It was that one was out in Yucca Valley. This old man, I guess he was like he was a war veteran. Never had any kids. Nothing at all. The house was going to be left to the state.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I was like, I'll be damned. I'll be damned. And but I couldn't find the original deed. You know what I mean? I couldn't find it because it wasn't on file. I couldn't purchase the copy off the internet. I would click and be like, no document has ever been
It was
filed.
just too old. You got to go to the public records
Exactly,
downtown, right?
But no, I would have done that. But I was like, why don't we just break into that place and see if we find it?
Right.
So that's what I would do. I forgot to explain that. So that's what I would do. Like whenever those properties, I would have someone break into the house, change the locks, you know, and then put the key in the lockbox. So whenever investors wanted to come look at it,
Yeah, they could look at it.
they could look at it. You know what I mean? No problem. If you got that covered, come on.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, what are they ever going to ask?
Right.
Never.
No,
Like,
they legitimately believe that you're in control of the property.
Exactly.
Right.
So then that was one of the key factors, you know, like, because when I tried it, when it wasn't like that, they got sketched real quick, you know, like the first one, we didn't have the lockbox,
Right.
you know, and they're like, well, what is going on? Usually it's like this. A guy calls me, says he has a property. I go over there, there's a lockbox. I open it up, there's the keys, and I go look at the property, and then I make my decision based on what I see. Why is this not happening like this?
Right.
And I'm like, okay, so that's when I knew I had to do that, you know? So I would pay people out of pocket to break into the house, change the locks, before anything was, you know, anything, you know? So now we have control of the property, you know? And
So you the third one, you get the deed.
and I couldn't find it. Remember, I couldn't find it. So then I sent the same person I would pay to break in, I'm like, hey, I need you to go find this. It's going to look like this, please. And he must have taken 2 days, you know? Like, not straight, but he would leave and come back. And the second day, he's like, I found it. It was bad. It was in shambles, but I can barely get the signature, you know?
Right.
So I was able to get it, forged the signature. That one we saw about $100,000.
Okay.
$100,000, you know?
Nice.
And, you know, again, you know, the what's it called? The investors didn't ask no questions. Lockbox, boom, 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 done deal. You get me?
Yeah.
And that was
Well,
that.
they've also got title insurance.
Yeah.
They'll be all right.
Because of the 60 days, you know? And so now, now, this is where things take a big, big turn because I run out of properties. Like, I can't find no more, you know?
Right.
The obituaries, but like, this is not working anymore. Like, they have properties, they're either not fully paid off, or they have family, or just one of the check marks was not getting checked. And I'm like, oh, man. And I always told myself, do not move into where it's more populated, like Rialto, Fontana, San Bernardino. Because chances are, it may look like it fits your criteria, but at the end of the day, something's going to come back and it's going to bite you in the ass. But when you start running out of the money you're making, you know, like, you tend to, like, kind of let some of your rules go, you know?
Right.
So we found this property. Well, I found this property in Fontana. You know, it was off of Merrill Street. And the lady had just died, you know? And I'm like, okay. So I go over there to knock, and there's a bunch of squatters in there. I'm like, okay, I'm like, what's up, guys? You know? So they swore up and down they knew. They swore up and down they knew the owner, but no, they didn't, you know? Like, I was asking them questions. I'm like, hey, what do you guys know about this property? Oh, yeah, so it belonged to so-and-so. I'm like, that's not the right name.
Right.
And you know, like, just don't lie to me. Like,
Yeah.
So then I told them, I was like, look, here's what I'm here to do. Okay? If we can work together, you guys can end up paid too, get cash for keys, you know? You guys can end up paid too, you know? Yes, you're going to end up having to leave here. And I know, hey, they had been there for years.
Right.
You know, even with the lady there. You know, like, I guess she just had these people living there, you know? Oh, we're going to pay you rent. Never paid her rent. And these were people that were kind of like intimidating, I guess you can say. But she just never, I guess they took care of her enough to where, you know? But,
Okay.
you know what I mean? But, I'm like, how do you not know that she was the owner? Oh, I just looked, I'm like, what the heck? Like, her name's not this. Her name is this.
Right.
You know? Like, her name, what's her name? Her name's not Justine. Her name is Angelina Black.
Right.
It's right here. Angelina Black. Oh, we always called her Justine. I'm like, was this even really was this even? So it turns out that this lady that they were taking care of was not the owner, you know?
Right.
Like, so it's like, what the heck's going on? I'm like, so this is where I got confused. That confusion alone should have made me back out of it, you know? Because if I'm turning a corner and I don't know what's coming on the next corner, maybe I shouldn't turn the corner yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So now there's a bunch of confusion, you know? Oh, you know, there was this person, there was that person, and this is the owner, this is the owner. I'm just like, all right, I'm just going to go ahead and do with it because you guys don't know. Seems like you guys don't know what you guys are talking about. It seems like you guys are trying to confuse me to not have to move forward with this so you guys can stay squatting there.
Right.
That's what I thought, you know? And so I went ahead and did the deal. You know, I transferred the ownership to somebody that I knew. And this time we were going to look at like $245,000. I was like, oh, man. Obviously, that was the fuel to keep going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And but I just couldn't. that splinter in my mind. I'm like, I just couldn't really figure out like why would they say they knew the owner, or why would this person pose as the owner and then it not be? But whatever. I let that in the back burner, you know. And turns out that they were saying that just so they could keep squatting in the house, and so I don't come in. So
you do the transfer.
Yeah, I do the transfer. The ownership changes, right? And now we're trying to sell it, but now this house has liens. This is the first one that I run into that has liens. You know? Oh, well, it has this lien. And I'm like, oh, like now I'm looking up, how does a lien look? Or how does a lien payoff look? So, you know, it's like, remember you saying that you had a degree in fine arts?
Right.
Yeah, so it's the same thing. Just mock this shit up.
Yeah.
Send it out. Boom. You know.
Yeah,
And
I did this to a house one time, where the person had a lien from. This was a house we did in Tallahassee, Florida, but the person who owned the house actually had a lien from a condo in Miami. She'd been behind on her condo, and they placed a lien on this house. And so I had to satisfy that lien. She also had another lien of some type. I forget, of taxes or something.
Yeah.
Satisfied that fucking lien. You know, it's like I was like, I don't care what lien's on there.
Boom,
I'm gonna
it's done.
fucking
Yeah.
I'm gonna find something. I'm gonna figure out how to get rid of all these liens. Got to go.
Yeah.
So and they don't check.
Nope.
As long as the title company looks it up and it says, she's like, oh look,
It was satisfied.
they owe $5,000 in back condo association fees. Oh, look, here's a satisfaction of the condo association fees. Okay, take that off.
Yeah.
They're not calling anybody, nothing.
Yeah, because the satisfaction document is just saying, hey, this was taken care of.
Yeah, this was taken
You know?
care of, so it's
And-
fine.
And you can do that with mortgages too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Satisfaction of mortgage,
What?
or satisfaction of lien. Either one is fine as
Yeah,
long as
yeah.
all the numbers are correct. You know how you're putting the OR book. You know this was in OR book. 25. Page 175. Instrument number 12120705.
Yeah.
You write all that out.
Yeah.
Filed on this date.
Yeah.
That's so as long as all that's right and it's notarized, I could file a lien against your house, and then I can file a satisfaction against the house a month later. Like if I'm able to file the lien against it, they never called anybody. I'm able to file a satisfaction.
Yeah.
Because when a mortgage from Bank of America shows up in public records, nobody at the public records gets that mortgage and calls Bank of America and says, we just want to make sure that you did file this $120,000 lien, right? Did you? Oh, look it up. Oh, Matt. Yeah. No, that's okay. Just want to make sure it was okay. They don't say any of that
Yeah,
shit.
of course, yeah.
So it's the same thing when they say satisfaction shows up. They don't call and say, hey, just want to make sure that you guys did really satisfy. There's this guy going around doing this crazy shit. Doesn't matter. You could go in and have a conversation with them, tell them this is what's happening. You guys need to look into this. And they'll be like, by law, we're not allowed to call anybody.
That's right. That makes
They
sense.
just can't.
Because that paper itself is saying, hey, everything, whatever process was that needed to be made,
It
so
was
this,
done.
and that's
all
done.
the boxes.
Yeah.
Like I said, all the boxes. OR book was
Yeah.
page, instrument number, date is correct, signed, notarized, witnessed. Everything's legit. Everything looks legit. We're good.
Yeah.
File it.
Yep, that's right. So
And if it doesn't, then the only thing they do is they go, I'm sorry, we can't file this.
because it's not correct.
Right. They don't say, it doesn't look like a Bank of America, a normal one. We're going to call Bank of America. No,
Yeah.
can't do that.
Yeah.
Send it back to me.
That's right. And then, like you said, that it's funny that this is another thing you said in your interviews that like it's just I could relate to so much. It's like almost like these people help you.
Commit fraud.
Yeah.
They're helping. They'll give you all the answers.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I interviewed for Home Title Lock. I interviewed one of I forget the guy's name, but he's head of public records in, I forget what it was, where were we? Oklahoma? I think it was Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Interviewed, like the head of one of the counties in Oklahoma, where I interviewed this guy who's head of the public records, and he said legally, he said, if you show up and all the boxes are checked, we have to file it.
Damn.
Can you call if you think there's fraud? Absolutely. By law, we are not allowed to make a phone call, even if we believe it's fraudulent. I said, so if somebody hands you one and it's all done in green crown, and he said, but everything's correct? So everything's filed, everything says everything's correct. And I was like, yeah, right. And notarized? I said, yeah. He said, well, then we have to file it.
Wow.
Doesn't matter if what it's,
Yeah.
doesn't matter if it looks like a fucking 5-year-old
Yeah.
fucking wrote it out. And it's 30 pages long, and we've never seen one like that.
That's right.
But it's notarized and signed by they're signed by someone that says this person works for Bank of America.
Yeah.
We're gonna sign it and we're gonna file it. Like that was it.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the deed. You go if you know. Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah, of
notarize-
course.
Somehow, some way, I take care of those liens. You know, like
Right.
hey, I got satisfaction. You know, I didn't know that's what they were called, but. So yeah, I filed it. Boom, boom. Okay, it's correct. Okay, cool. This is taken care of. Okay, this
There's
is,
also called a release of lien, by the way.
yeah. Okay, release
It's
it.
really,
Yeah.
it's anything. You just make some shit. A release of lien, release of mortgage,
Yeah.
satisfaction of lien.
That's what it was. Release
Yeah.
of lien. Yeah. A lis pendis, as they call it, right? Something like that.
A les pendens is when a property enters foreclosure. It starts
okay.
the foreclosure property.
Oh, okay.
Les pendens is the first filing to notify everybody on title that
This
is
is
in the
foreclosure.
process. Yes, in the
okay,
process
okay,
of
that makes
foreclosing.
sense. Okay.
So go ahead.
So yeah, so we take care of the liens, you know, and now that obviously we did the transfer, you know, because they weren't going to do anything until those those liens are taken care of. So we take care of them. The ownership changes. Now I'm in this one. This is the one I signed to myself.
Okay.
I don't assign it to me. I sign it to my LLC, Quality Property Solutions. You know,
Right.
So now the owner on file says Quality Property Solutions. You know. So now I'm thinking, oh wow, like you know, this is the one I do to myself. I'm gonna make the most money out of this,
Right.
you know. Okay, so now, so I wait the 60 days, nothing comes back, but wait, I start taking pictures of it, start taking videos of it, you know, start calling the investors, you know. Now we go into escrow for this property, right? I'll never forget it, Clearwater Escrow. I forgot what city they were in, but yeah, Clearwater. I was everywhere. I was everywhere, bro. It's like whatever didn't work here, you would turn around and go somewhere else, fix it, and turn around and go somewhere else.
Right.
You know, so that's what I was doing. You know, like with the deeds, like I would never go back to the same spot. They just told me fix this and you're good. So I
Right.
fix it and go somewhere else. You know, and yeah. So then
Clearwater escrow.
yeah, Clearwater Escrow, it's looking good. You know, like the investor puts the money for the escrow. You know, the money's in escrow. Now, so they call me one day. I'm at my house, you know, like I like shooting pool. So shooting pool is my thing, you know. I'm at boom, boom. Like, hello. It's like, oh yeah, this is Debbie from Clearwater Escrow. How you doing, Debbie? You know, like, is there anything? What's going on? What's wrong? She said, oh, well, we have kind of an issue. I'm like, what's going on? Like, you know, like is something with the liens, or did you find another lien? Like, no, nothing like that. Like, somebody wants to talk to you. I'm like, what? Hello? Oh yeah, this is Sherelle Owens. Okay, how can I help you, Mr. Owens? It's like, so how did you get ownership of my property? I was like, what? What are you talking about? You know? Because obviously, if he had been any type of owner, he would be in the history of the transaction
Right.
of the property, right?
Yeah.
But he wasn't, right? Or at least that's what it seemed like. That's why I went ahead and did it, because okay, obviously there's nobody here. Let's move forward with it.
Right.
It's like, no, man. Like I'm owner of this property. How? So he sends me the document. It was a quick deed from Angelina Black
Right.
to Sherelle Owens. You know, but it had been so recent. You know, it wasn't showing up.
Right.
So I'm thinking I'm still not fully convinced that this guy went about it.
I think he's running a scam on you.
Exactly.
You scam me.
Yeah,
I scam you.
yeah, exactly.
That's the way this works.
You know what I'm saying? But for some reason, I think he had the gall to call the law enforcement. You know?
He's not scamming you.
No, right? He's like, look, man, like all I want you to do is meet with me with I was like, hey, no, I'm not doing that. You know? And meet with me with a notary. Just sign it back. You know? But he already knows that deed is fraudulently made. Why would I need to sign it back if the deed that was filed?
He can't get rid of the deed.
You know?
The only way to get rid of that deed is to do what's called a suit for quiet title, and it takes at least 3 to 6 months. So he doesn't want to have to spend $2,000 or $3,000 to get rid of you.
Yeah.
He'd rather just meet you. He probably genuinely. I'm 95% sure he genuinely just wanted to meet you and have you sign it back over. Like I get what you're fucking doing. Like I don't give a shit about law enforcement or you getting in trouble. You made an attempt. You tried. Good for you. Didn't work out.
Just give it back.
just sign the fucking shit over and go fuck with somebody else. That's probably because that's what I would be like.
Yeah.
I get it. I hear you. Just sign the fuck because I know what I don't want to do.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to call law enforcement. I don't want to fill out police reports. I don't want to have to file. I don't want to have to wait 6 months to get this property back. I'm not going to call anybody. Just fucking sign it over to me.
See, my paranoia got the best of me.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm thinking. Like,
Yeah,
I'm going to get there.
I'm going to get there and they're going to arrest me.
Yeah.
Same thing when they say, hey, can you come by the bank?
Yeah,
real quick
no.
So we can ask you so you can sign this one document you forgot to sign. Go fuck yourself. I'm
Yeah,
not
for
coming
real.
to the
Yeah,
bank.
for real. You know, exactly. So then that happens, and I drop that property. I'm like, I shred everything. You know.
Then
Get
he
rid-
called the police.
Yeah, but this is like later down the line. Okay, so I leave that property alone. Don't ever. I block the guy, shred everything, get rid of everything. Now my company still owns this property, or whatever. Okay. Now I'm realizing that the scheme I'm running has probably met its end.
Right.
You know, because I mean I couldn't find any more. You know, so now I had another idea. I'm like, okay, let's find properties that look like they're abandoned, like they haven't been touched in years, and if they're out of state, we can pose as the owner and sell it. You know, not having to transfer no property. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Which we got. I mean, no, actually no, because the first one was the one that went bad. Okay. So there was this property in was it Fontana or Rialto? Because it's borderline. Okay, I think it was Rialto, and I would always pass by it on the way to Dawn to my mentor's house. You know, I always pass by. I'm like, man, this house looks abandoned as hell. Like the grass is this tall. You know, so I go to it and I walk up and I knock and nobody answers, you know, and then one of the neighbors comes out and is like, hey, be careful because that property, I guess like the mold got so bad, like you can get sick from it, you know,
Right.
So just step away from it and blah, blah, blah. Okay, damn, okay. So I find out who the owner is. I find out he lives in Massachusetts. Okay, he lives all the way out there. Obviously, he doesn't care about this property. So I knew this guy. He would make IDs, any ID. You know, California, any state, and even Mexican IDs, you know, anything. And you would look at it, you put the black light, and everything, boom, would pass, you know. All right, cool. Can I get one from Massachusetts, you know, with this picture and this name, you know, and then this address? Okay, cool. He did it. You know, I paid him the $300. Now, this is where Mike Kurtzy comes in. You know, the guy Mike I told you about. So Mike Kurtzy is this OG that I met through Don, you know, because they were all friends when they were growing up, you know. Kurtzy's he's a millwright, you know. He's in
a what?
A millwright.
I don't know what that is.
Like
no.
yeah, like it's just like heavy working like with steel, like you know, like you get me? Like just heavy iron work stuff like that, you know? Yeah, stuff like
Like
that.
an iron worker.
Yeah, kind of like that, you know. So
You ever heard of millwright? No.
yeah, so like he's in the union and stuff like that, you know. But he's one of those where it's like they'll call him when there's like extra work because he'll always be late, he'll always call off, but he knew what he was doing, you know? So like he wasn't always consistently making money,
Okay.
you know. So he's hearing about what I'm doing, and I'm like, dude, like I need someone of this age to pose as an owner.
Right.
And he's like, well, so I explained to him the whole thing, like what can happen or what's going to happen, what can possibly happen, and what are the chances of getting caught. I'm like, look, if you can pull this off, I will make sure you say the least amount of things, like, as much as I could. Like, you know, like you can be quiet the whole time, let me do the talking. If we can get that done, we'll be all right. Cool. So Arthur John Host, right, was the owner's name. Like, Mike, your name is Arthur John Host. That's literally all you have to remember. Everything else, anyone's asking you, I'll answer. Now, I don't care if they find it weird. What are they gonna do?
Right.
You know. So we actually get it done. You know. I call an investor. Hey man, you know what? I have this property. It has this wrong with it. It's got mold issues. It's probably gonna need to be tore down. If you want to come check it out, you're gonna have to wear whatever, like the safeties, whatever. You know. So he comes in, checks it out, and he's like, okay, I think we can make about this much on it. Okay, cool. So now we go into escrow, right? We go into escrow. It's gonna get bought. You know, it gets bought. Everything goes through. You know, like the purchase goes through. You know, everything. All right. Now it's gonna change ownership. Right now we get the check for this.
So you're going to the title. You're going to the closing.
Yeah. Now we're gonna go to the closing because the owner's there. The owner has his ID. Hey, I'm so and so. You know.
You mean Mike?
Yeah. Me and Mike or Arthur or whatever. You know.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, all right. So we walk into the office. I'm like, Mike, what's your name? Arthur. All right, cool. You know, and little by little, I'm thinking, okay, this guy's got it. You know,
Right.
so we walk into the escrow office. He passes with flying colors. Hey, my name's Arthur. You know, and I told him, you have to know, like, okay, I live in this city in Massachusetts. I've been here for this long. I've owned the property since this year. Blah 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 blah. You know,
Right.
Like, why did you let it go for so long? Oh, I had the intention of coming back to California and seeing what I could do about it, but my wife died. Whatever. Okay, so he passes that. Now, we don't have a bank account for these, because think about it. Like, I am doing wholesale real estate, but I still had fucked up all my banking stuff from before. Like, I can't bank anywhere, and he's pretty much like an outlaw type person, so he don't have a bank account either.
Right.
And so we're like, okay, where are we going to send his money to? And he's like, why don't we just get a check? I'm like, we can do that, but
You still have to deposit it somewhere.
yeah, or get it cash somehow, But I already had that guy, the check cashing guy, right, I was telling you about. I already knew him, so we were good. We were on good terms. But that was That was another one, $250,000. That's a lot of money,
Right.
Because I had come to him for the 80, for the other 80, the 100. Okay, that I mean, I could see that being passable, But 200, that's $250,000.
Right.
So okay, so they gave us the check, and I'm like, all right, let's take a drive. We go to the check cashing guy place, and I'm like, hey man, like, check us out. You know how you've done checks for me? He's like, yeah. Well, can you do one more? He's like, yeah, I told you, you can come in. I have your money. Is what he would always say, And so he's like, it's 250 grand. He just starts scratching his chin. He's like, $250,000, eh? I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, okay. Well, where did you find this diamond at? I was like, hey, like, I'm here to catch a check. I'm not here to kiss and tell, All right. Well, what's wrong? Like, look, it says it's written out to Arthur John Host. You can call for the check because there's a number or a code or
the check's
on the
good.
check.
The money's good.
Exactly. So he calls, hey, so and so, they have a check for this much. Is it valid? Okay, yeah, of course. This check comes from this escrow company. What's the owner's name? Arthur John Host. Okay. And he's like, you have an ID? Yeah. Boom. Okay. Come back tomorrow, and I'll have the money for you. Give me the check. Done deal. Okay. So we leave. We're obviously celebrating because we think we're about to make $250,000, right? Mind you, while we were getting to sell that property, I think it was asbestos or whatever. I don't know what it was infested with, but it was bad. Like, the mold was really bad. Like, you inhale that and you're probably gonna die or something like that. It was bad.
Okay.
So so that took a while because like, people, I guess they needed to talk to the city about rebuilding it or tearing it down, the safety measures that they needed to take. The thing is, it took a while.
Okay.
So in the midst of that, I started piling up a list of properties that we were going to do the same way.
Right.
This person lives out of state. This property's abandoned. Let's go. So I had 12 of them, and I already had everything set up. On my phone. I had everything set up. They were on my phone. We were ready. As soon as these 250 grand hit, the next one. We're just not gonna stop, right? Okay. So he tells us to come back the next day. We come back the next day, and I can tell Mike had been on this. He was drunk the night before. Like, I could just sit in his face. I'm like, dude, like, really? Like, look at this as going to play the Super Bowl. Are you really gonna get shit-faced drunk the night before you play Super Bowl? Well, no. Then what the fuck? Like, what's wrong with you? And he's like, oh man, I was just happy we were about to make so much money. You don't have the money yet in your hand. Yeah. Like, bro, like, you want the dog to bark and it's still in the womb. Like, come on, And he's like, well, brother, like, you want to count your chickens that haven't hatched yet. Like, what's wrong with you?
All right. So what happened? So what's going on?
So and he's like, I don't need to hear this shit. I'm like, all right, man. If anything happens, this is on you. So mind you, he's out of his mind because he was drunk the night before. Remember, what was his job? His job was, I'm Arthur John Host.
Right.
Okay. Now, the check cashing guy place has started noticing from the day before that any conversation that he would have with Mike, I would cut off and I would talk for him.
Yeah.
Anybody else that we were involved with, they didn't find a problem with that.
Yeah.
They didn't find, but he found a problem with that. Like, why don't you let the man talk for himself? You can see it. He didn't say that.
Right.
But the way he looked, And what the things he said in between, I'm like, okay, this guy's wondering, you know? So we're sitting down, and usually, like, he has the money ready. I give him the check, boom, and he hands me the money, and we leave. That time, he was like, hey, well, why don't we just go hang out in my office in the back for a little bit? I'm like, okay, whatever. Nothing bad. We go back there, right? And, you know, we're hanging out. He lights this big old cigar, you know. He's just chilling. He's like, you want to hit this? I'm like, I'm cool. You know, like, that's probably going to make him pass out. He tries really hard to direct the conversation to Mike, you know? And I'm cutting it off, you know? And finally, he stops and he's like, hey, man, like, why don't you let the man speak for himself? What are you talking about? He's my client. Like, I understand that, but you're acting like this man has Down syndrome or something. Like, you're acting like he can't talk for his own account. Like, what's wrong? No, nothing. Like, well, can we have a conversation with him? Okay, cool. I guess, yeah, it's fine. Look, if this, you know, if this offends you or anything, like, by all means, you know, whatever. So he turns to him and he's like, okay, Mr. Host, like, I just want to know, like, what's it like living in Massachusetts, you know, and asking him why he left the property abandoned for so long. Questions that he already answered before.
Right.
But remember, he's shit-faced from the night before.
Yeah.
So the moment he's like, hey, Mr. Host, Mike's face was like, I was like, oh, shit. Oh, my God, there's no way. Like, he's not going to bomb this. You know what I mean? He's like, oh, Mr. Host, like, what's it like living in Massachusetts? And he's like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, I'm from Fontana. My name is Mike. I'm like, dude, like, oh, man. I look at the check cashing guy. I look at Mike, and now we're all looking at each other. And Mike realizes what the fuck he just did.
Right.
You know, he's like, oh, no, you know, they call me Mike, you know, but my name is Arthur, you know? And I'm just like, dude, it's way too late. Like, you done nuclear bombed this fucking thing. It's over, you know? So the check cashing guy is like, because I'm pretty sure, like, it's a money establishment. Everything's recorded.
Yeah.
You know, he's got to, even in his office, everything's got to be recorded, you know? So I'm pretty sure that audio got caught somewhere. So he's like, well, I'm like, what's going on? He's like, are we going to do this? He's like, do what? I'm like, are you going to give me the money? He's like, no, I'm not going to do that. What I am going to do is I'm going to keep this check. And I'm going to keep his ID. I'm like, why are you going to do that? He's like, you really want me to answer that question? And I was like, he's like, you're lucky I'm even letting you leave. Let's just leave.
Right.
And let's just leave, you know? Shit. Let us leave. We take off. You know, I'm like, Mike, you're.
I'd have left Mike there.
Yeah, like,
I'd have got in the car. Mike had been pulling on that door handle. I was just fucking backed up and been like, you're on your own.
Okay. Now, I left a little part of the story out. Okay, so while this property was being in the process of it,
Yeah.
one of my mentor's friends, Tommy, he hears about what I've done. He hears that I've done properties of people who are dead, and now I'm doing people who, you know, the owners are out of state. Okay, so he comes to me, you know, and he's like, hey, brother. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, I have a property for you. I'm like, bro, like, you know how many times that people have told me that? And, like, I'm either too busy or the property they give me is like, no, they have family. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you know? But he comes to me, he swore up and down that this person was dead. You know, he knew their name already and everything. And I'm like, okay, look, I'm too busy doing my shit. I'm not gonna stop and do homework for you for something that you can cash out on. You know, like I'm just not gonna do it. You know, like, because I don't want to put time and effort into finding something out and then find out that he's not dead. If you can assure me that he's dead, I might consider making the deed for you so you can go ahead and do your thing. You know. But mind you,
So that's what he wants to do. He just wants you to make a deed, and he can go off on his own.
Yeah.
Okay.
But imagine the detail. Person needs to be dead. Okay. So he comes back like 2-3 weeks later, and we're almost about to do the closing for this one, you know. And he's like, "Hey, man, he's dead. Like, I promise you."
Dude, give me 10 grand and I'll fucking make the deed. You can go file it. And then if that guy ever calls you again and says, hey, man, I want to talk to you about, no, we don't talk anymore.
That's
just hang up the phone.
That's right. Yeah, but it's not how it went. It's not how it went at all. Now, mind you, okay, I have the guy, Shirel, from the Fontana property. That he's like, I don't want to call the cops. I completely blow him off. I don't know what's happening to that at that point, you know?
With the 250.
Yeah, with the 250. I don't know what's happening.
So he
at that
didn't
point.
call the cops?
I don't know, right?
Oh, okay.
So now I move on to the property where Arthur John hosts,
Yeah.
which is we were also going to get 250 out of it. And Mike fucks it up.
Right.
You know? So now we got two situations where law enforcement could possibly get involved, or they are involved. You know, I don't know. Because
Oh yeah, that's right. I didn't realize there's two fucking landmines out there.
Yeah.
The deed house.
I
Yeah.
forgot about the other guy. Yeah.
You know? So now I just don't know because I wasn't going to stick around to find out.
Right.
You know? Okay. So now remember there was 12 properties on my phone that I had everything set up. Okay. So the next one was D Street in Colton. Okay. So now we're trying to get this done. You know? I have the guy make an ID for Robert Benjamin Torres. Robert Benjamin Torres. Yeah, it was Robert and Dora Torres. Okay. Now I have to make two. You know, Robert and Dora, because they live like in another state. They live like in Connecticut or something like way out there. You know, and so I make their IDs. You know, so now I have to not only find a guy, because I'm not doing Mike. You're gonna be fucked up.
No.
Like no way. So I find someone else, and hey, is your lady up for this? You know, because they had to be older.
Yeah.
You know, so I find some people in the age group. I find a guy. Hey, do you have a wife or you have a girl? Yeah, would she be willing to do it as well? Because this deed is a joint deed. You know. Okay, cool. So then I have my friend make the IDs, pay him, and I come back. I'm like, look, here are your IDs. Okay. Now, mind you, this is where shit hits the fan because I had been being investigated already. I had been being followed. Why? Because the property that the guy Tommy said that the guy was dead was not dead.
Right.
Okay?
So it had nothing to do with your two
It
fuck
had
ups.
nothing to do with my two fuck ups.
But
here's the third landmine.
Right.
You know? So I'm doing this one. You know, I'm literally at the property. You know, like showing the property. Oh yeah, you know, these are the owners. I'm showing the property. You know, and my phone just keeps ringing. Like I'm not one to answer the phone while I'm doing something, because you know it's rude. But he keeps calling. I'm just like, all right, well, it's got to be something important. I'm like, excuse me, I'm sorry. I answer the phone. It's Tommy, and I'm like, what's wrong? And I hear screaming in the background. This guy's screaming at the top of his lungs. You know, like, yo, motherfucker, get the hell off my property. My neighbors said that they've seen you dozens of times right here. You've taken motorcycles. You've taken this. You've taken that. I was like, Tommy, what's going on? And he's like, well, brother, you know, I'm like, shit. This guy's not dead, is he? He's like, well, I thought. I'm like, Tommy, bro, I told you. You have to make sure this person's dead or this was going to happen. He's like, oh, well, I don't know what to do, man. And then he says, I told him all about your company, and I told him all about how you made the deed. And I'm just like, dude, what the fuck? And as a matter of fact, here he is. Hello? I hung up, and I was like, no. But obviously, for Tommy to get off the hook, he's like, this is his company. This is who he is. And this is where he lives. So now I get a voicemail. You know, I get like 2 missed calls, and I get a voicemail. I don't check it till later after showing the property. I get home, and I'm like, you know, Mr. Falcon, this is Gene Arsley, you know, owner of the property here up in Crestline. And I was like, okay. And he's like, your partner here didn't have no problem telling me everything that's going on, you know. I know you have a company running scams. I know you have a company doing this. I know you have a company doing that. But then he pulled the same thing that Shirel tried to put. Oh, you know what? Just sign it back over to me, and we don't have no problems. Okay. Mind you, the first 2 landmines now have the attention of law enforcement, but they're not. They don't make it. They don't make it known. They had been following me. They have everything, you know. So now we're doing D Street. You know, I'm still trying to do D Street, trying to make some money, and then I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna do this last deal, right off in the sunset, no more, you know, because obviously the heat was coming down. You can feel it. You can literally feel it. Anyone that tells you otherwise is lying.
Right.
You know, you can feel the heat coming. You know. And so we're trying to do D Street. I get the paperwork together, the contract and everything, you know. And I have one of my friends, like, hey, go take this to the escrow office. Just drop it off. Because I was even scared to go to the escrow office at this point, you know. So I'm like, hey, just drop it off. Tell them it's, you know, for Peter, da-da-da-da-da, and this and this and that. Okay, boom. They drop it off, and they come back, and they're like, dude. I'm like, what? Like, it's not good. What are you talking about? He's like, I got there, and there were people in there that try to make it look like they work there, but they don't work there. I'm like, what were they dressed as? They had slacks, and I'm like, how was their build? Oh, they were like really built, and I'm just like, what did they talk much? No, they didn't talk much, you know? I just talked to the lady in the front. I'm like, those were cops. Those were definitely cops, just chilling there, just waiting for me to walk up to the escrow office and, to nail me. So I'm like, fuck. So I stopped everything, I'm like, I shred everything, stop everything, and then just cut it like I just stop. No more. I get myself a 9 to 5 working at this car wash. At this car wash, I'm like, I'm done. I know what's coming,
Right.
It's not 1, it's not 2, it's 3.
Right.
Or 3 or 4 even, So I cut everything off, stop doing it, Don't get me wrong, like when you're used to it, you're just like, man, just do one more. But it's like, no. And so I thought that because I stopped, that was going to be the end of that. That's it.
not how it works.
No, it's not how it works
Still
at all.
got to pay the piper.
Exactly. So when that happened, when my friend told me that there was cops waiting for me at the escrow office, this was like April of 21, right? So cut everything off, stop doing everything, shred everything. Boy, I forget to wipe my phone of the ones that we were gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I said 12. Yeah, 12. There was 12 of them, everything, blah, blah, blah. I would even write in my notes the steps. Like, oh my God, dude. It was bad. Like, literally, if you were to look at it, it's like, oh, well, I don't need any more evidence. Like,
Right.
It's all right here, And, okay. So by November 30th, 2021, like, I had forgotten about it. I'm like, nothing's going to happen. They're not going to come. They're not going to say anything. Boom, boom, boom. Sheriff Department, we have a search warrant. I was like, and this is like maybe an hour before I go to work. So I get up, I'm like, shit, like I don't have anything on. I put some shorts on, I try to tie it, like, it's bad. Like they literally caught me ass naked. Like, what am I gonna do, So, I put some clothes on. I go and open the door, and rifles come out. Matter of fact, I didn't even open the door. My little brother opened the door, and they point the rifle at him. They cuff him. They cuff his girlfriend. And then they thought that he was me. Once they realized he wasn't, I was still in the room, like, trying to get rid of other shit, Yeah, no. So they came in, and they're like, all right, where's your phone? And I'm thinking, well, right, like a dumbass. I could have just been like, I lost it. But, you're not thinking because you're like, oh, shit, like, it's over.
Right.
Hand him the phone. Where's your computer? It's over there, all right? So, so now they connect the phone. It was a full-on raid, So, okay. So there was the main investigator to that case, to that raid. Someone I was working with had told me about him. Her name was Sherry. The girl that was working with, her name was Sherry. She is trying to get licensed to do real estate, but she saw that I was making money, so she hopped in,
Right.
and then she would make money, And she was like this lesbian chick from LA, but she's the one that gave me access to be able to look at the old deeds and find the old signature to transfer. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm giving her money every day, So she obviously she's happy with me. I want to say she had no idea, but there were situations that happened where I had to fix it. That what else could it have possibly been?
Right.
But she was like, "Oh yeah, okay. Well, as long as you fix it, like she knew what was up,
Right.
But whatever." So one day she calls me and she's like, "Hey, like, do you know anything about this guy?" I'm like, "What? What's his name?" He's like, "His name is Buñuelos." I forgot his first name. Oh, Eddie Buñuelos. Who's that? And he's like, "I don't know. He's just saying that he's from REF." REF. I'm like, shit, real estate fraud.
Real estate fraud.
Yeah,
What is
really.
that?
No, there's a team that takes care of like real estate fraud transactions and everything.
For what? For what? For what law enforcement agency? I mean, this is like the
I don't
county
know.
or something?
They said sheriff.
Oh, sheriff. So it's a sheriff's office. Okay.
Yeah. They call it REF.
Yeah.
REF.
Well, here they've got one. It's called. It's the financial crimes division.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Something like that. And so in comes this guy. Okay, so here's what happened. So when Sherry told me about him, and what did he tell you? He's like, oh, he just asked me about you and what we're doing. The company, I told him that we wholesale and I haven't noticed anything illegal. And he said, if you ever notice anything illegal, here's my card. And it just makes me wonder, Peter, like, what's going on? And in my head, I'm thinking, Sherry, you know what the fuck's going
Right.
on. Like, get the hell out of here, but whatever, you know.
Yeah, I had a bunch of employees do that.
You get what I'm saying?
I
Like,
understand.
yeah, you know,
don't
you get it. Like you're over here making 15 grand off just because you know me.
Yeah, right.
Like, come on, you know. And then so she goes, okay, well, I don't know what's going on, Peter, but I think you should talk to him. And I'm thinking, this is before the raid,
Right.
You know. And I'm like, damn, like should I? So in my head, I'm thinking, if I just spin this guy a story,
Right.
he might just go that way, might go on a wild goose chase. But no, he knew who he had.
Right.
You know, so I sent him this long email, you know, because the reason why he was called, you know, is because of the Shirelle Owens thing,
Yeah.
right? The Shirelle Owens thing, the Mike thing, and now the dead guy that wasn't dead.
Yeah.
These three things all led to Quality Property Solutions, you know? So obviously something's going on. We're going to find out, right? Me knowing that he's aware, obviously he's aware of the situation. I write this long email. Like this email was probably like a page's worth.
Right.
And obviously I'm still on the ice, which does not help.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you think you're making sense, but you're really not. And that's terrible. So I wrote this long email saying how Tommy was the one who was orchestrating everything, you know? That Tommy was the one orchestrating everything, that I know Don, he knows Don, and one day he was like, hey man, we can do this and we can do this, you know? Like, so I pretty much just pinned everything on him, saying, hey, he's the one orchestrating this, you gotta watch out for this guy, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, like, and I'd be like, I swear to God.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, so I sent him this email, and then all he writes back is, well, why don't you just meet up with me and we could talk more about it? And I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not going to do that, you know? So I left that email alone. I realized later on, I'm like, that was stupid. That was so stupid. Like, you know?
You're just putting yourself in the middle of the whole thing. And
Exactly.
now it's on paper that you're lying to a law enforcement.
Yeah.
What is it? Obstruction of justice.
Yeah.
So you're working at the
Car wash.
car wash.
Yeah, so I get a 9 to 5.
But
you
you're
know?
good though. You're working at the car wash. You're
Yeah.
doing the right thing. They're going to drop all this stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking,
Right.
oh yeah, you know, hey, I'm a hardworking citizen.
Right.
You know, this is like it's gonna
That
be all
was-
right. It's
yeah.
gonna be good. You know, wrong. So I started working there, and then that's when they come to the door. You know, like boom. You know, and I'm thinking, oh my God, they're here for me. They're here for me. They're here for me. And here comes, and I knew who he was before. I was like, this is Buñuelos. It has to be. And he didn't have his, you know how they can rip your name off, you know, because it's Velcro. He's like, Mr. Falcon, you know who I am? And I looked at him and I was like, yeah, you're Buñuelos. Yeah, good job. How did you know? I was like, come on, man. Like, I can recognize when someone got their man.
Yeah.
You know, and that's who you are. And then I asked him, I was like, when when that email I wrote you, that didn't send you on a wild goose chase? He's like, no, I knew who I had.
Yeah.
You know, the moment the file hit my desk. And I was like, oh, shit. Like, so, all right. So I'm thinking, all right, well, cuff me. And he's like, no. Like, I didn't come for you. I came for your technology. It was a technology raid.
Okay.
So he came from my phone. He came from my computer, but they wanted to extract what was on the phone right then and there.
Right.
But it was so much, like so much data that it was taking a long time. They were at my house 3.5 hours. You know, even my mom came home for lunch. She was like, "What the fuck is going on?" You know, I was like, "Oh, now not only do I have to deal with what's going on here, now I got to deal with, you know, like with mom. Damn near has a heart attack. You know, damn near has a heart attack, and so the guy Buñuelos sees that, and he's like, "Okay, look, we're gonna have to leave because you know his mom is obviously not looking well, not reacting well to the situation."
Right.
So I'm thinking, I'm looking at the tech guy. The tech guy knows what's up. The moment you pull that phone from the extraction and it doesn't complete, that file gets corrupted
Right.
because it's not complete. You know, that means you got to start over.
Yeah.
But the moment they leave my house
And give you the phone.
no,
you're gonna
they
erase-
took the phone.
Oh, they took the phone.
They took the
okay.
phone, but my phone was connected to my Mac computer.
Okay.
So the moment they leave, the tech guy already knew because he looked at me, I looked at him, I was like, yeah, you already know what's up, brother. The moment they leave, I'm going to go on my computer and wipe that phone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But, okay, so they leave, right? And I'm thinking, wow, they didn't come arrest me. And the last thing he said was, Falcon, I didn't come for you today, but I'm going to come back for you someday. I'm in my head, I'm like, yeah, right. You know? So that happened, right? They left. And now I'm not doing anything, you know? Like, I'm just going to work. I start my detail company, you know? Because I started thinking, like, because a lot of people would be like, they would pass by, oh, do you happen to do detail? And my dumbass would be like, no.
Right.
One day I finally was like, well, I have enough money to get this started. So, I got my little setup and started getting customers and stuff, right? And this goes on for about a year and a half, almost 2 years. Nothing.
Right.
Nothing at all. And one day I get this text. It's funny because this is with me and her, and we started going out, And I'm thinking, I have money saved up, like this is wonderful. Like life's gonna take a turn for the best. Like, I finally be able to have that home, family, like everything that a man would want,
Yeah.
normal life. And one day I go on my lunch for work. I go over there, I meet up with her. She brought me some food. And I had gotten these texts from like this number, like maybe like 2 days before that. They're, hey, I saw your ad on Facebook. Can you take stains out of a car? And usually the customer's like, here's my car, here's what's wrong, how much do you charge?
All right.
But they were being very vague. But again, remember, it's been a year and a half, so I don't know what's gone.
Right.
I had forgotten about it, I'm like, oh yeah, well, what kind of car is it? Oh, it's a Toyota Prius. And I'm like, wait, this is a man talking about a Toyota Prius? Come on, man. Like, unless, you're a little, like, like, come on, And so that was red flag number one. Still decided to ignore it. I'm like, okay, well, what kind of car is it? Oh, it's a Toyota Prius. I'm like, what's wrong with it? Oh, it's got water stains. I'm like, bro, water don't stain. Like sweat stains. Like,
Right.
like if you're a hardworking construction guy and just the sweat goes through,
Right.
that stains. Like other stuff stains. Water doesn't stain. It just goes away. So I'm thinking, still, red flag number two. Still don't catch it, And there's so many red flags. Still don't catch them. So he says, all right, so what do you want me to do? I want you to clean the seats and I want you to do a waxing. Okay. He's like, oh, can I go to your house? I'm like, sir, I am a mobile detailer.
Right.
I am mobile. I go to you. I've never met I have one customer that brings me their truck and then they take off in another car and come back when I'm done. And that's the only one that I do like that because they got comfortable, like they were reclining at the car wash, whatever. But I'm not just going to have someone random bring me their car,
So where do you meet him?
Huh? I don't meet him.
Okay.
My dumbass, I'm like, look, because I feel bad because I don't want to lose a customer.
Right.
You get me? I'm like, look, this is my address,
Right.
and this is where I work. If you want me to do a quick touch up or a little sample of what my work will look like, meet me here. That was a couple days before. So then that day comes where I go to lunch on my lunch break, go home, eat lunch, whatever, come back, I punch in. I'm just about to go back to work. And I hear Falcon. I'm like, what? I turn around. It's Buñuelos, the lead investigator that came through my door a year and a half back. And look, and I'm like, there's no fucking way, dude. Like, there's no way. Yeah, he cuffed me, threw me in the back of his car. And the first thing he said was, didn't I tell you I was going to come back for you? And I'm thinking, damn, So the phone that he got, I had wiped it. And I had gotten a new phone. Still didn't delete those files off the new phone because it goes onto the iCloud, and when you back up your iCloud, it brings everything you had to the new phone. Still hadn't, like a dumbass. I'm like, oh God, like I need to get rid of that stuff, And so I'm in jail. I call my girlfriend. I'm like, babe, like I'm in jail. I'm like, don't worry, I should be out within a couple of days. I go and look at my papers. There's a $500,000 bail, And I'm like, oh. Okay, well, I've never seen this number this high before. And, I'm like, hey, I can't bail out. No, you need 50 grand or you need this. I'm like, fuck, I don't have 50 grand. So I go to court the first time and I'm like, can I get out? Can I get out on OR? And the judge is like, you are a danger to society. Maybe not violently, but you're a danger to society for people's information, people's homes, people that, you can destroy people's lives like this and you want me to let you go? Denied. That's when I knew. I was like, I might be here for a while, Then it clicks. I'm like, my phone, because he took my phone again. I'm like, my phone, And I called my brother. I was like, bro, you need to get rid of my phone, And he's like, well, I did it the first time, because when they left the first time, I couldn't delete it for some reason, but he was able to do it. Okay, cool. And he's like, and he told me, I'm not doing this for you no more. You know, whatever happens,
Right.
happens. So second time, when they finally caught me and I'm calling him from jail, I'm like, dude, Josh, I need you to I need you to delete my phone. He's like, I'm not doing shit.
Right.
You know? Like, shit. So that's when those
You gotta
40
get him charged.
Yeah, that's when those 48 charges came in, you know? I asked for my discovery. My discovery was 1,700 pages long. 1,700 pages long. I got it. I didn't even get to go all the way through it, you know? Like, fuck. So I started going to court. By like the fourth court, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to sit down for a while. You know, they went from, they were telling me 8 years, 7 months, something like that. And so we hired a paid attorney, and they got it down to two and a half. Because at the end of the day, they found the attempt. They never found the ones that we did. Never found any of the ones that we sold or any of the money that we got.
Okay.
Nothing. So they went from 8 years, 6 7 months to two and a half. I'm like, damn, I guess I paid 10 grand for the lawyer to get it down to two and a half. So I did my time, right? And it's funny because everybody I would talk to that was about fraud, it's funny because like when you go in, whatever you were there for, you start talking to people that are of the similar crime. You know what I mean? I couldn't find anybody.
No.
Couldn't find anybody. Like I was like, what? I knew credit cards and stuff. I'm like, oh, you're in the little leagues. you know, like you're over here playing Pee Wee football, and you're over here like in the NFL. And I'm like, come on.
I knew one guy that owned he was a lawyer, and he owned a title company, and he had satisfied the loan on. He didn't even satisfy it. He basically refinanced his own property several times, and just kept the money, and recorded fake mortgages. And then sent it to the title companies, and then and the mortgage company. So it looked like he had recorded these things when really he had taken the money and not paid off the first mortgage. But this was his own personal property.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't believe that they let him do those transactions himself. I'm like, they knew that. He was like, yeah. He's like, no, they knew it was my stuff, but you know, he said I was telling him I'm trying to save on the money. I was like, it never made sense to me that they would let him do that. But I forget what it was. It ended up being like, I want to say like $500,000 or $1 million or something like that. And he ended up getting like 3 years. But of course, he's a real estate lawyer. He's no longer going to be a lawyer.
Yeah, of course.
So,
got disbarred and you know, can't. Yeah.
So, but that was that was like kind of like the closest person I ever came that was close. And that was out of 13 years.
For real?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like anybody would be like, oh yeah, I was squatting. I was like, dude, I was squatting. Like, come on, that's
not the same thing.
Right. Come on, like, you know, you didn't take the time to learn about the trade and then go about it, you know. And like, it's funny because like, so when I ran into your interview, I was like, damn, like, you know, I need to talk to this guy. Like, it'd be cool if we can have a conversation about this because I didn't even out there never met anybody that was even remote closely to even understand what was going on, you know.
So on the 2.5 years, how much time did you do?
Just 1 year.
1 year?
Yeah.
1 year.
Yeah.
What was the loss? How much was it? It was a couple million or something?
What? Oh yeah, 2.8 million. The potential losses were 2.8 million if I had done those, you know. Yeah. And
so you got out. So what year did you get out?
I got out of prison February of 24. Remember, all this happened in 21. They came through my door in 21. They didn't come at me until like almost a year and a half, 2 years later.
Right.
You know, so I get arrested February of 23 and do the whole year, and I get out February of 24. Right. So I get out of prison February 10th, 2024. You know, now, you know, I was away, but I really didn't feel the pinch of like you're locked up because I had money. You know, she was taking care of me. You know, I had packages. You know, oh, you want to buy some pruno? But it was like I was on vacation.
Right.
Literally, like I really didn't feel the pinch of it. You know, and like okay, whatever. So I get out, and she had some money saved up, and so we just start enjoying ourselves. You know, not like if it was never gonna run out.
Right.
Which is always a problem, right? And so it starts running out, and I'm like, oh shit, like, you know, arguments begin. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
You know?
Stress. Yeah.
Yes. And then I'm like, okay, now I got to get back in the game, but I'm not doing no real estate, you know? So I go back to what I knew best, which was cars, you know? And I know that I'm not going to work at no dealership, you know? And again, it's like, should I just go straight edge or should I just go full fraud? And I'm like, well, I don't have a choice. So I went full fraud, you know? And so what I would do is I called Chico and Juan or one of them, and I'm like, hey, what's the website you guys use to obtain this information? Oh, why? Look, if I give you $20, will you just give me the information and shut the fuck up, you know?
Right.
Yeah, and they gave me the website, and I started looking people up. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, I didn't care what it was as long as it was good credit. So what I would do is I would get a profile. I would go on Car Gurus, Car Gurus. And then in the financing section, you fill out their information, right?
Yeah.
And it pre-approves you based on your credit, based on your credit score. And since every profile I got was good credit, they would pre-approve me with Chase, Capital One, Westlake, Global Lending Services, all the banks. The more banks that I saw pre-approved, the better the credit. So then I would start shopping, and I would find the highest price for 0 down. Once I saw that, then I'm okay, I'm going to pick out of these. But I shopped out of state. Why would I shop out of state? Because if you shop out of state, they're not going to require you to come in.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So then I'll be like, okay. So and then my area was Arizona. Like Arizona, I was like, hello, hey, my name is this so and so. I'm trying to get this car. I'm already pre-approved. Oh, okay. I have a pre-approval certificate. Okay. So Car Gurus, whenever you get pre-approved and you look at the vehicle, it gives you like a little okay, you are approved for 0 down for this car. How do you want your certificate to be sent to you? Text it to me. Text it to you. Screenshot it. Call the dealership. Tell them you want that car and send them that pre-approval. They think that with that certificate, the bank that pre-approved you already did its due diligence. Proof of income, proof of residence, proof of everything. And it's like, okay, well, Mr. So-and-so, since, you are pre-approved with your bank, we see it right here. All we're going to need is a copy of your license front and back. And, it's what do you want to do? I'm like, okay, do you guys transport vehicles? Yes. Okay. Do you guys use your own or can I bring in my own company? Oh, we do our own, but you can also bring your own. I'm like, all right, how much is it if we go with you? Oh, it's $800. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I have this company that can come in and pick it up for me. Is that okay? Yes. Just have them give us the bill of landing, which is where it's being picked up from and where it's going and everything,
Mm-hmm.
And then that's it. So that's how I would do it. The only money I had to pay out of pocket was the transportation fee. And the driver didn't care. As soon as the driver picked it up, I was like, hey man, we're changing addresses. Okay, $25 more on Cashapp. Done. They would drop it off, leave the key under the mat, and I would either sit somewhere and just stake it out maybe a couple hours or have it parked somewhere so far away that by the time I got there, come on, So, there was no cops on it. You get me?
Right. Yeah.
So, and it worked. Like,
but they don't even know if fraud's been committed yet. So
Yeah.
when you get the car, what do you do with the car?
so I would just drive it around.
Okay.
No, literally.
I
Like,
understand, but how are you making money doing that?
Okay. So I had been doing this for a while, not with the Car Gurus, but we would obtain cars. So my friend Chico, he would do it to where he would walk into the dealership.
Right.
I'm like, you're a fucking idiot, bro. Like, but he would get it done. So we knew these people that would take these cars and send them down to Mexico.
Okay.
So my point to this was getting to do that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But for the longest time, I couldn't get a hold of this guy Chico because he knew the guy. So I was doing cars left and right. Honestly, to be fully honest, I would do some just for fun.
Right.
Just
Have something to drive around.
Yeah,
for a month or
exactly.
two.
So finally, I come across this this profile that it was I forgot what his name was, lawyer or something like that. And okay, so we get this 2022 or 2023 like metallic Dodger blue Ram, beautiful truck.
Mm-hmm.
The color was like, here I am. I didn't think about that till later, but that truck when I get approved for it, it also comes with a credit limit of like $21,000. I'm like, here it is. Here's the money that we need to be okay. And I remember telling my girlfriend, I was like, if we don't do something productive with this money, I'm gonna go back to jail. Like come on. I knew it because if we blow that money, we're gonna want to make that money again, and that's not gonna go as well. And boom. Okay. So you would think with $21,000, you would have the decency to make 1 or 2 payments because literally the loan account is connected to the credit file, the credit limit that they gave me.
Right.
Did I make a payment? No.
Right.
So now we blew the money. Now the second payment's coming, and I'm like, shit. Okay, we need to get rid of this truck. So now this is when me and Chico got in contact with each other. I'm like, dude, like, do you want something to drive? Yeah, give me $6,000. Keep this truck. Boom. All right. Now, I was working on 2 more because me and my girlfriend would hang out with this couple, that they were doing bad, okay, and then the guy had 3 daughters. So I was like, okay, look, bring me a profile, I'll get you a car, and then whatever, if you want to make the payment, whatever. But I don't exist if you want you to get caught. I still didn't learn my lesson, from the first time. So, okay, I got my girlfriend a black Durango, and I was getting them a white Durango. Okay, now Francisco, which is the guy, my friend or whatever, he thinks that I used the profile he gave me to get my girlfriend's car. But I had told him I'm already working on one. Okay, I'll work on yours. I'm working on 2. One of them is gonna get here first, and it's gonna be hers because I started hers first, obviously, So her black Durango comes in. We drive it around. We use this Durango as a replacement for the blue truck because now they're looking for the blue truck. I'm like, I don't want none of that. So we got this. How much did we get? We got like $3,000 out of the 6, because the guy Chico, he was like, he would be into going into Home Depot, make a receipt for whatever, his thing was flooring, like the vinyl flooring, make a receipt for like 30 cases of flooring, load the cases on the cart, walk out and be like, here's my receipt, load it up and go. We were making pretty good money on that, whatever. And so that's how he was paying me. So then I would go and sell it to somebody else for a higher price, make more money. So we got the Durango, and then we park it in my mom's driveway. Here's where I fucked up, because on the blue truck, I realized that they had approved us for the credit limit, but I had to change the addresses from his address to my address so the letters, the cards can get to my house.
Right.
I had to pass the credit questions like 3 times. So I'm like, well, we're never gonna get caught, so I'll just put my address as the address for whatever we do next. So where's the car registered to?
Your
my house. So here we roll up in the black Durango. Now when we got it, we didn't get the temporary plates. This is where I fucked up. Okay,
this is a lot of. Yeah. This is where I fucked up.
Yeah, no, really. Right. So now I'm hounding the saleswoman. Like I'm not just asking. Like I'm like, you need to give me this shit right now.
Right.
And I'm like, I need those paper plates. Right. I need those fucking paper plates. Like, I need them. I don't want to get pulled over. I'm like, look. And in my head, I'm thinking.
And what, you're just driving around with no tags at all?
Nothing. For like just a couple hours.
Oh, okay.
While she's sending me the file,
Yeah.
And then by this time, it's like, because we picked up the car, it must have been like 8 o'clock at night. And I'm looking through the car, there's no paper plates. I'm like, okay, we need to park somewhere. And that's just, so their dealership closes at 9 or whatever. I'm like, look, you need to give me this fucking paper plates. I don't care if you have to stay extra at the office. You're giving me these paper plates. So that kind of drew a really big red flag. So she reports it. I don't know this. She sends me the file. I print them out. I stick them on the car. Go to my house. Park the car, sleep.
If you sleep hot at night, you know how disruptive that can be. Whether you're having trouble falling asleep, you're waking up sweating in the middle of the night, or all of the above, that's where GhostBed can help. As the makers of the coolest beds in the world, GhostBed is your go-to for cooling mattresses, cooling pillows, and cooling bedding. From their signature Ghost Ice fabric to patented technology that adjusts to your body's temperature, every GhostBed mattress is designed with cooling in mind. So whether you want a plusher mattress that cushions your shoulders and hips, or a firm option with exceptional support, your GhostBed will keep you cool and comfortable all night long. When you purchase a GhostBed mattress, your comfort is guaranteed. You can try out your mattress for 101 nights, risk-free, to make sure it's the right fit for you. Plus, they offer free shipping, and most items are shipped within 24 hours. If you're not sure which Ghost bed is right for you, check out their mattress quiz. You'll answer a few questions and get a personalized recommendation. Just visit ghostbed.com/Cox and use code Cox at the checkout.
The next day, Chico's going to give me the second half of the payment with the flooring, Right. I'm going to give you this much flooring, and then you go on your way. Now, that day, what happened? Yeah, okay. So we were trying to get Francisco's Durango for him and his girl, right? Right. Okay. So we have I forgot what the fight. We had a huge fight. She wants to leave, and I'm not letting her leave. I'm like, yeah, get back in the house. And she has all the paperwork for the deal for the white Durango in her hand because she's the one signing it because it was a female profile.
Right.
So she's the one signing it. I'm just like, and she's like, I'm gonna leave. I'm like, you're not going nowhere. So then I push her kind of hard, She drops all the paperwork in my front yard, And I'm so mad, I don't even pick it up, And I'm thinking, okay, we just need to get in the house and defuse the situation, and it'll be all right. We go back in the house. The situation does not get defused. It gets worse. And so it got so bad at the point where I'm like, okay, my mom's about to call the cops. So we just book it. Again, did not pick up the paperwork off the floor. My mom did call the cops, you know? And so we disappear, you know? Yeah, okay, so yeah, this happened before we picked the Durango. So yeah. So the Durango's already on the way. Mm-hmm. Right? The Durango's already on the way. We're doing the white one. We get in this fight because we're riding around with Chico in the truck doing more of the flooring. And then that's when we get in that big fight. And then she's like, I'm going to leave. I'm like, no, you're not. Push her, drops everything. So now we're on foot. We're running. I'm like, where are we going? I don't know, but we got to get away from here. So my mom calls the cops. Obviously, they come. They were smart, too, because they left it just the way it was. Paperwork, you know? Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking, oh, these motherfuckers, they didn't get shit, you know? So we finally come back to the house like 2 days later with the Durango. Roll up. And I'm like, hey, Mom, what happened to the paperwork that was right there on the floor? Oh, I have it right here. You mean the cops didn't get it? Like, I don't know. I don't think so. They didn't even touch it. I'm like, okay, cool. Now, mind you, the car's registered to my house. Mm-hmm. We pick up the paperwork. She begins signing the rest of it. And that's when Chico was like, hey, I need you to meet me at Walmart so I can give you this flooring. Cool. Get in the Durango, back up. I swear we get a block from my house. You never really expect it. It was over, you know? So we get pulled over, you know, and they're like, get out of the car, get out of the car, get out of the car. I'm like, oh, shit. So then we got out of the car, they arrest me, and then right away I'm like, how do I get out of this? Like, what can I possibly say to get out of it? And there was a cop there in that scene that I had talked to maybe like about a month ago because I was on probation. Mm-hmm. And they came in and they found some paraphernalia and they were like, okay, you're going to jail. So, but I had talked to him about the real estate thing. I'm like, hey, cause, you know, just you know, just kind of like get him on the good side. And I was like, hey, look, if you guys need to watch out for this and this and this and this and this. If you ever see, and this is what this means. But I pretty much explained the scheme I did with real estate, mm-hmm. but giving it to the cop like it's some good Samaritan. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay. So he's thinking, oh, okay, cool, awesome. He's willing to give information, right? So we're there, and I see him. I'm like, hey, what's up? And, hey, yeah. And so then he goes to the it's the auto task force. It's called Sandcat. And he goes to the guy, the lead investigator, and he's like, hey, man, look, you need to listen to this kid. He's got some information that might help you crack some cases. I'm like, oh, it's a wrap. So now I'm thinking, okay, what am I going to tell this cop that I can get out of this? So I'm, I'm thinking, like, the gears start turning. Finally, he sits me down, and he's like, all right, what happened? I'm like, look, dude, you need to know I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one in this motherfucker, you know? Right. but none of it's true. You know, none of it's true. Right. Like I'm literally sending them to chase ghosts, you know? Right. I mean, like I'm not the only one in this. There's this house in this city, you know, there's a bunch of people, they're on their computers. This group of people does this, this group of people does this. All I get is they give me my own phone and they send me calls and they said, okay, you're gonna do this. So I'm the one that calls the dealership and gets the whole thing done, and then they transport the car. Someone else picks it up. You know, they drive it for a little bit, and then they sell it to some people. That's all I know. And then I'm like, and then they also have other people doing other shit. Like this person does the Home Depot runs, you know. Right. So that part of it was kind of true. In that moment, the cops looking at me, and my friend Chico calls me, and I'm like, watch. Like, just watch. My speaker. Yeah, like, hey, where you at, dog? Hey, you know what, man? Like, I had some shit happen. You know, my mom, you know, we got in a little argument, you know. My bad for the delay. And he's like, you were arguing with your mom for 2 hours? Like, look, man, like, I'm sorry. Like, what do you want to do? He's like, I had to leave. I had to go do something. But are we still good for the Home Depot run tomorrow? I'm looking at him like, you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So he's like, yeah, all right, cool. So I hang up. I'm like, see? Like, dog, like, if you had any doubt, like, there's the proof in the pudding. Like, right. like I'm not lying to you. So I'm thinking he still doesn't believe it. So he goes to her, he lets her go, right? And then he comes back to me, and I'm like, hey, where's my girlfriend? Can I at least say bye to her, give her a kiss? And he's like, oh, no, you'll be able to kiss her when you get outside. Like, I'm going to let you go. I talked to the DA. He's like, you got 48 hours to come back with something. I'm like, wow. You know? So then, okay, the next day, her son has a party at Topgolf in Ontario for his birthday. And he's on it. He's texting me like, hey, what's going on? Finally, he catches me in some little inconsistency of what I'm telling him. And he's like, oh, really? And I was like, what the fuck? Like, hey, where you at? I'm like, I'm on my way home. All right, well, hurry up because I'm outside. No. He says, hurry up. I'm gonna meet you there in this much time. Okay, that's weird. So then she takes off with her aunt to go set up for the party, and I was supposed to. I don't know if I was supposed to go or the thing is that she took off, right? And I'm thinking like, okay, that's weird. So I usually there's a store I go to buy like the vape, and that day for some reason I'm like, I'm gonna hop the back wall and just take a shortcut. Hop the back wall, take the shortcut, and I'm like halfway to the store, and my dad's like, hey, the cops are here. What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, they said that they've been sitting out there for an hour and a half. I'm like, fuck. So not only were they there, they had followed her, you know, and then they arrest her thinking like, oh, where's Peter? Thinking that she's covering for me. And so they arrest her, and then now they're getting a hold of me like, hey, the same guy that I got away with, you know, the same guy that I lied to, he's like, you need to come now. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not going. So I don't go. She goes to jail. Yeah, so she goes to jail, but the whole time I'm looking to bail her out because I knew it wasn't going to be a high bail. You know, I knew it. So I'm looking. Finally, they come up. I try to bail her out. The thing is, her aunt bailed her out first. So now it's like I put the money up. You're coming with me, type stuff. You know. So they take her to Arizona, whatever. You know. Now I'm on the run because I didn't go that day. You know.
Right.
So like I had to buy maybe like $2,000. You know, but I have to stay places. I have to buy lifts. I have to do this. And so the money's like gone.
Right.
You know, and then being on the run is tiring, man. It's very tiring. So by like the 5th day, the money was gone, and now I'm in the middle of Fontana walking the street, and I'm just like, okay, whatever, you know, walking, and I get by a Burger King and see F-150, F-150, F-150. I'm like, these are cops, and I still try to run. I'm over here hopping fences. Like, hey, look, when you get an adrenaline kick, it's either you move very swiftly and very powerfully, or you're like Mo from the Three Stooges. You just bah, like it's not happening, you know. And you can't respond to your own adrenaline, like you're like, you know. And I couldn't. Like I was so stuck on like the fear rather than the flight, you know. So then like I was running, and then they tased me, and the other guy kicked me, and you know it was a wrap, you know. And so the cop that I had lied to, he was pissed. He was pissed the fuck off. He was mad as fuck. Comes up and he's like, what, did you think I was going to catch you? I was like, fool, just arrest me and take me in already. You got me already. Right. You know, and he's like, well, you know what? I kind of got to put a little salt on the wound on this one because you know, no one ever gets away from me. And I was like, well, I did. You know? And then then that was that. That was the car thing, you know? And like, I realized, I'm like, man, I went from doing something sort of like, I don't know, prestigious, you know, like that real estate thing, you can honestly still do it, you know? I'm not saying do it. I'm just saying you can, because it's like, it's a loophole, you know? But yeah, I went from doing that, and like, I'm over here being chased by cops over cars. I'm like, man, I done told them pull real hard.
Well, how much time did you get? What did you get charged with?
Okay, I got charged with receiving stolen property, GTA, and using identifying information unlawfully. It you know, like even for the first one, I didn't go down for real estate fraud. It was
There's no real estate fraud.
Oh, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like wire fraud or mail fraud or.
It was filing a fictitious document to the county building. That's what I did a year over.
Right.
You know, yeah.
So how much time did you get on this?
On the car thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was on probation. So they're telling me, you get in trouble again, you're doing 2 years, 8 months upstate. I'm like, well, fuck that. So I saw that, you know, the court, I saw that coming, you know? And so I'm like, what can we do? And they're like, well, you know what? Since the nature of the crime wasn't exactly the same, they're looking at 16 and a half. I'm like, sign it. Like, give it to what? 16 with half. 16 months with half.
Okay.
You know? Like, so, okay, look, so real quick.
So that's probation.
Yeah, no. So I was on probation, right? When I got sentenced for that year, they told me, if you get in trouble again within the time you're on probation, 2 years, 8 months upstate.
Oh,
Boom.
okay.
You get me?
Well, you just got in trouble.
Again. Yeah. So this is when I violated my probation with the car thing. So I'm thinking they're gonna hit me with 2 years, 8 months at least.
Right.
But then the public defender was like, look, since the nature of the crime was not as the same, they're willing to do 16 with half, which is 8 months. I'm like, sign it. So I did 8 months on that. I did like almost 9 months because I got time added for some stupid shit. But I did 8.5 months, got out. But you know what? on the second one, I definitely felt the pinch on that one for sure. There was no money. Like, yeah, everything that could have happened happened. It was bad. It was really bad. Like,
When'd you get out of jail?
September 19th. Yeah, I just got out.
I'm glad you got arrested because I was sitting here thinking like, is he telling us something that he didn't get caught for?
Yeah,
Like
I was
a few
waiting
months
for you to
ago?
say that, like, yeah, you know, and you know, I got out on bond. I'm out on bond right now, and I was thinking, fuck, is this? He's just because he's admitting to.
No. Like, everything I'm talking about, I've done my time for.
Yeah.
For sure. Oh,
Well,
hell
well,
no.
I'm just saying because it's so recent.
It's
Because
so recent.
You're
Yeah,
like, I got
I
out.
was
You got.
thinking-
I got out February 2024, and I thought that was the last time.
Yeah, no.
He's not even out on probation.
No, I took the deal that would leave me without probation because I'm not doing that again. Like, yeah. So yeah, I mean, but it's crazy because the second term, these 8 months, yeah, it felt longer than the first time. You know, like it was terrible because everything that could go wrong did go wrong, and
No commissary.
yeah, and
Yeah, you do it,
barely,
you do it.
barely, yeah, no commissary,
throw him just
yeah, like no,
Nobody to come see you.
yeah,
no
nobody to come see me.
visitations.
Like some like fighting for phone time. You know, like the politics in there were a little heavier for me because now they know that I came back, and they're like, okay, well, you know, you need to assume a position. I'm just like, fuck, dude, yeah,
Right.
it
Yeah,
was-
you're not a novice now.
Yeah.
You're not some guy who just fucked up once and we'll never see
Yeah.
him again. Now you're kind of a part of this fucking.
Yeah.
You're kind of they're starting to think of you as one of them, like a career criminal.
Yeah, that's
now.
right.
Like you're
Yeah.
like a.
Yeah, so I'm there passing notes, doing deals. You know, hey, did you send this money? Hey, did you do that? Or sending, hey, you got to fuck this guy up, or whatever the hell it may be. You know, it's not fun. I'm pretty sure you know it's not fun. I did go to prison though on the first term. I did go to prison. I was up at Wasco, and I was in reception, and then I went to the yard for about like 3 weeks, and then went home. Yeah, I mean, well, the yard I was at was pretty chill. Like I never saw anything like that. You know. But no, yeah, the second time it was bad. You know, dealing with the politics was really like it took a lot out of me. You know, and then everything else that happened, like I can honestly say a part of me died and stayed there. It's gonna be like that forever. You know, but yeah.
So what are you doing now?
What am I doing now? Well, I'm trying to get this degree in cybersecurity. I was back at the car wash, but I mean, weather's getting cold. You know, like the weather's getting cold, and then the jobs are slowing down. Because there's other car washes opening that have newer stuff, newer technology, like newer gadgets and stuff like that.
Right.
And I had told the owner too. I was like, "Look, dude, like," and I pulled him to the side. I'm like, "Look, I don't own a business. I'm no business owner. Like, I'm probably the least person who should be telling you this. But if you don't run some kind of like social media marketing, if you don't run some kind of something that will allow your customers to stay loyal to you, you're gonna lose them." And he just laughed it off. And then that's exactly what happened. You know, I don't know if you know about Quack car washes or something like that. Yeah,
Where at?
yeah. So those
I don't know if
those
they're
car
here.
washes started popping up. Boom, boom, boom. And Riverside Avenue alone, which is where I live, there's 2 of them. And he doesn't get business anymore. Like if you had ran social media marketing, hey, like this page and you get a free car wash or get this or get that. Bro, like the loyalty would have just been like there, but who's gonna listen to some criminal who just got out of jail, you know? Yeah, it's terrible. So
What university are you going to?
it's Southern New Hampshire University. You know, it's an online school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult because like even though you're not physically going to a campus, virtually going to a campus is just as confusing because you are on the website, you don't know where to go, you don't know what So I'm still like wrapping my head around it. You know, yeah. But I mean, the work is pretty easy. Like write an essay regarding this. Like so was it digital literacy, like how that's important to cybersecurity. Like basically saying like if you're on Facebook or you're on social media, you got to be able to recognize when a user is like not human,
Right.
and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, I already know this. Like the way they type, it's like I already know this. So I'm just passing with flying colors. It's pretty easy. Like and then it's gonna get into like things that I don't understand, like like the coding and all that. Yeah, that's kind of like tripping on that. I do want to say it was definitely an honor. No, I'm serious.
Cut that out.
No, I'm serious. Look, bro, look. I'm like, listen. I'm not glorifying what you did.
Yeah.
I'm not glorifying what I did. It's just like just the fact that it's just so similar,
Yeah.
Like I remember watching the interview. I was like, damn, this this is the man. You got balls of steel, bro. But I'm pretty sure you know that's the old you, and you know you're doing this now.
yeah,
Like, I understand, I get it. You know, and then another thing I wanted to touch bases on is like when you talk about like what you did to reduce your years. You know, want to know something? Anybody in that situation would have done the same fucking thing.
I mean, I would.
I didn't realize it was such a big thing until I started doing this.
Oh
podcast.
no, it's huge.
I'm like,
It's huge.
I thought it was common sense.
It's huge. But you know what? It's huge to people that are not like us. Does that make sense? It's huge to people that are not like us. It's huge to the people that are going to live like that the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
And it's not huge for us. And if it's not huge for me, why should I abide by these so-called rules? Who made these rules up? Can you point them to me? I want to have a conversation with them.
Right. Yeah. I didn't sign anything. I didn't agree to anything.
You know, like shit. What the hell? Like you know, like the only rules I ever followed was the rules Mama had for the house.
Right.
That's pretty much it. You know, and even then I had trouble. But no, like come on, you know, like right now they're saying that if they have to remove somebody, that whoever's doing the removal, they gotta hit the person until they get sprayed or until the CO like just cracks it down. Why? Because if they don't spread out, I mean, if they spread out and hide and they don't find who did it, they're gonna start shaking down everything, and then there are people that have stuff that they shouldn't have. So now you have to get caught. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, like you know.
But that's state. I was gonna say that's state prison.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not like.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not gonna end up in state. I'm not ending up anywhere.
That's
Listen,
right.
man, can we wrap this up?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right. You ready?
Yep.
All right. And thanks for coming by.
Yeah, for sure. You already know.
Hey, you guys, I appreciate you watching. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you get notified of videos just like this. Also, if you want to be a guest on the show, please go into the description box. You can click on the link for our website. Go to our Be a Guest page. You can fill out an application and leave a short video, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you very much. See ya.